Okay, I'm gonna fucking focus. Alright. Let's see the setup right now. Ouch, 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 ouch. Hands hurt. Hello, Lunel. It's been a while since I seen you. She made it. She made it. After weeks and weeks of non-drama, she shall finally sip from the oasis that is the drama. Oh! Nah, fucking me. Set it back in right now. You're still at work, so you cannot join the broadcast directly, but you will be here. I am pounding out the tweet. I put together a thumbnail. I don't think it's one of my best. But you know, simplicity. Easier for me to whip something up directly and then try to iterate on an idea that's already been done. There you go. Life of a mama. I don't think I've ever remembered you telling me about. No, don't worry, it's not one, not important. Anyways, last night, after I was done with the broadcast and I was going to get ready for the backup broadcast afterwards, I chopped up some lumber. A tree fell in the yard of my neighbor, and she could not manage it with her 2 kids, and her husband was away. So, while he was at work, I just simply chopped it with my hand axe for her and lumbered it across the yard for her. My body was on fire, and then I needed to be up at 5 to 6 a.m. this morning so that my mother could be able to get into medical transport. Context being, because I was exhausted, that's why there was no follow-up stream. There was going to be a VsChat where I was going to do something akin to this, but I decided to not and wait. Tried to play a little bit in the morning to try and keep myself from turning into a pumpkin so that I was able to be up to answer said door for medical transport, but it just fucked up my entire cycle entirely. So there was no content today until now. Ergo, I will probably just reappear Saturday and continue playing both Expedition 33 as well as Ratchet & Clank 2 because Alex has already paid forward for Ratchet & Clank 3. And at the same time, while we were doing the giveaway, we still have 2 names worth of draws to pull for the audience for the community group gaming giveaway for inside the server. So I'm probably going to do that Sunday, just so that we can be done with it. Because at this point, Alex has earned his total of being a United Negro Carl founder. I've already given it to him, and we've had more than enough content about video games and gameplay, so we needed to get some content in here. This is me saying it, not Horace saying it. Meanwhile, I can imagine that Horace been barking! Because she's not a fan of Path of Exile, she's not a fan of most of the video games I play in general anyways. And there's been plenty enough drama happening in the background that the responses about all of the people involved in the nuke, some people are calling it a content cop. This is very clearly, it was meant to be a content nuke to try and destroy Ethan Klein. We're just going to go over some of that fallout. We're going to get a taste for it. We're going to see what people are saying. We're going to address some of the comments, questions, concerns, and words people are saying and doing. Because some of it's retarded. I try to put in Sean the Black and it goes Sean the Blank. But yeah, we're just gonna look into this. Because I think the attitudes of the people involved are really stupid, really dumb. Because ironically enough, of all of the people involved, people such as this individual, needs to be seen. You'll be finally playing it all weekend because the video is done. It's not that you're not a fan of the games that I play, just not much as interaction on the stream, so you play out, you'll watch later. It's fine. So right now, I'm looking at the video of Sean the Black. There are a couple of things that make me not want to react to this person's content. Specifically starting with, this guy is probably the clearest copy of Hassan Piker that there is. He's got all of his content, all of his links, all his material, and all of his reactions set up the exact same way as all the other people who are involved in this bullshit. Right? I'm looking through, and I can already see that he skims on Frogan's response. He skims on the Hassan and Idubbbz Cotton 4K Historic Cope on H3 Show 139. And he also skims the Is PewDiePie a Racist H3H3 response, while trying to come up with ways to say, Ethan Klein versus Hassan debate? He copes and he sees. XQC is kind of dumb. This individual has absolutely nothing to offer. He has nothing to offer. He has nothing to say. He has nothing about him that makes him interesting as a figure to look into. He is 100% an individual who is not deserving of a single goddamn bit of attention, and clearly is just there as the token black to be in the room so that whenever somebody has something to say about him, he can show up to try and throw his weight at the audience. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a replacement for people like that of Shark03. Because he's much more accessible. He looks blacker. I'm sorry to say it. He looks blacker. He looks blacker. He acts blacker. He's capable of hanging with these people. He doesn't look like he's out of place when he's involved with people like Frogan and Denims. He is exactly what all of us know he is on the surface. His material is that, and it's nothing but that engagement loop. So going to his page. Hi, I'm Sean, and I'm a former TikToker, don't ask, turned YouTuber, I hope, trying to break out of the video essay space. I want my content to have a specific emphasis on the intersection of leftist politics and the black identity, as I feel there's a lot of untapped potential in that space. So it's another dirtbag leftist. Except it's just a fucking dirtbag who's using his politics as a cudgel. And he uses his politics as a cudgel in the way that most African-American content creators that are left-wing do. Which is, I'm going to make fun of him because I don't like him and I want to make him sound stupid. But unlike Shark03 and his angle of everything's just a meme, it's just a joke, it's just a meme, I'm just a comedian. He wants to be an actual political pundit in his own way. So, he's in the club, people like him are out. There's not a single fucking thing that I can say about Sean the Black that's nice. There's not a single thing that I can say about this person that's nice. This is a result of what happens when you let FD Signifier be a content creator. He is exactly the kind of content creator that he platformed. So look for that coming up in the future. But he's exactly what happens when you allow for a person like this to exist in the space. So I'm not going over his response because he doesn't have a response. He just clicks through the content and then starts making jokes based on what his chat tells him to say. So, not interested in his response. But I will be going through some of the responses that you posted here that you wanted me to see, or as well as Frogan's. I already had Frogan's downloaded before he told me. Because Temptone's already lighting her ass up. So, based on whether or not she gets a lot of pushback, her video may or may not disappear. And, to entertain myself, I have gotten RuneScape Dragon Wilds. So let me get my shit up on the side here. And we will get underway. But I need to fix the sound. Okay. Hello, Tusky. So let's start here with this response from Airsoft So Fatty. Or, no, Airsoft Fatty, excuse me. There's no cell there.
Because this is not an easy video for me. First off, Ian, what's going on? You remember me, right? I hope so. Because I've seen that you come back recently in an official capacity and allow me to officially say, welcome back. Something the fans don't know about, but you sure as hell do, is the fact that I have reached out plenty of times through email the past year. I've called your old number. I've texted your old number. Got nothing. You've blocked me on Instagram. And on YouTube, it seems you've hit on my comments because neither you nor anyone who watches those videos ever replies to me or asks if they've even seen my comments. That being said, it does appear that this has become the one way I have to reach out to you. So firstly, I want to talk about Full Force. You know, that beautiful documentary you made on me from all those years ago, back in 2019. And you see, my father taught me a little saying that I've been looking at that documentary through the past few weeks, and I've realized something. And my father's saying was that the figures don't lie, But liars will always find a way to figure. So let's look at the figures. Let's look at the facts of what the video is. So Full Force is your #1 most viewed video, and it is the video that has made you the most fucking money, period. Both in sponsorship money and ad views. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it a lot. I really do. It brought a lot of attention. You brought a light to my crazy ass life. And I will forever be grateful for this opportunity. 24 million views later. All these years later, right? We're here, right now, in a season of airing dirty laundry. Spring cleaning, as they call it. So, it's time to air some out. Call me a content detective if you would. Because there's a lot of things that need to be addressed about my relationship with Ian. And Full Force in general. So, let's address this, alright? When you first came to Battle Creek, Ian, that was a huge honor. And I mean that. It was a huge honor. If my mother were here, she'd tell you about how, when you first pulled up, I didn't think you were real. I thought it was fake. But then I looked out the window, there the fuck you were. And I said to myself, no fucking way, it's real. Man, you were a fucking legend, my guy. The thing is, you know, during filming, you shot me a lot of looks. You shot your camera guy a lot of looks. Not kind looks, per se. You made a lot of jokes that I, at the time, had fly over my head because I was starstruck. But, now that I look back at it, I really don't appreciate the way that you portrayed Robert. Now, I get it, me and him were fighting at the time. We had bad blood. But you made him look pretty Dahmer-like. You made him look pretty Dahmer-like. And in reality, he's more like a Vegeta to my Goku.
Already with the references.
That's simple. He's not Dahmer, dude. And you know, the lightsaber fight at the end, that was pitiful. I'm gonna be honest, it was fucking pitiful. Both on my part and yours. You never were honoring me. At all. You weren't honoring my originality. You weren't honoring my content. No, you were just making jokes. Jokes. Jokes on jokes. And, you know, that's all fine. That's all fine and dandy. But what makes me upset about it is you claim to be on a redemption arc. And yet you've completely glossed over someone that you fucked over majorly. Like, fuck.
More than likely it was on purpose.
Fucking majorly. Let me ask you this. Ian, okay? Let's say your kid develops a skill and it gets him a lot of views. Or maybe he's just a weird guy in general and gets a lot of views, right? Regardless. The kid gets to a point that this famous guy comes and makes a documentary on him, and this documentary becomes slowly his most highest viewed and highest grossing film he's ever made. But then your son doesn't see a penny of it. And then not only that, but calls your son out to the national anthem for a baseball game. It doesn't fucking pay him. And when he's there, don't give him no fucking respect. Because I'm almost fucking certain you and Anissa would raise hell. Straight up fucking hell. D&D level of 7-layered hell.
If you wanted a better reference, you'd say Pathfinder, but it's okay. That fucking company's going the way of the fucking dodo.
But I'm supposed to keep shut about it. I get we were making a lot of entertaining moments. We made content gold. But the problem is, that tarnished me a little bit. Like, badly. And you know, at first, it was life-changing. I started being able to pay bills with the money I made from YouTube. I started getting major views and everything else. And something that came with it was the fucking trolling. I have come to know that this internet has some fairly nasty people on it, okay? Because let me tell you something. I will give you a very good fucking example. And you're going to realize why I'm upset. Because while I'm dealing with all this, you're there cashing the checks and not even thinking to say hello. But the simple fact is, right, you make all this money off me, you got all that clout off me, and then you block me, cut me off over nothing, over a simple fucking what? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Communication skills, buddy. They're like a potato. You don't communicate worth shit. And you know what gets to me the most is that documentary is some of the only footage I have left of my mother's own voice. How do you think that feels?
Like dog shit. The worst moment of your life where you lose all your connection to your parent is also mixed in with the worst antagonism, the worst trolling that you've probably ever experienced, and the person who's responsible for sending a lot of it to you can't return your calls. Definitely annoying. Preaching to the choir, man. Preaching to the choir.
That's the one video on the internet, maybe out of 3, that has your mother's voice in it. And I don't have any private videos or anything. I have one photo album from their wedding. How do you think that fucking feels, man? You literally put me on a pedestal. You literally made like a Roman family. You were like, oh, baby boy born. We take him to woods, we put him on a pedestal, and we leave him there for the wolves. And that's what you did. You took this infant Spartan and you said, here's your pedestal. There's a wolf there, wolf over there, wolf there. There's one over there just staring at me waiting me to leave. And I ain't gonna leave you no armor. I'm not gonna leave you no weapon. Bye-bye. And that's what you fucking did. You left me to the goddamn wolves. Here I am. Still here. Still walking, motherfucker. I just walked into your fucking camp. Fucking torn ass eye. Fucking carrying a wood spear. I'm ready to fight. I really do. I just want to legitimately ask, because I'm getting to a point now where I'm getting fucking emotional. I want to ask, was I ever legitimately interesting to you, Ian? Or was I another fucking joke of yours? Another goddamn video for you to make money off of, like your stupid content cops.
The probable answer is he was nothing more than a mark. That's the sad answer. This is the reality of Content Cop. How many of the targets that were put in front of the people that chose to be a follower of Ethan's, how many of them were only interested for as long as he made targets interesting? And then, once he made this turn where he said, hey yo, there's I've changed, I'm a new man. I understand that there is a consequence to my actions. There's a toll for the things that I've done. He didn't return a single bit of understanding about it. None. Might as well have been in one ear, not the fucking other. It only mattered for as much as he'd get attention for it. It only mattered for as much as he would get recognition for it. It only matters for as much as he was given trust about it and for it. And anything else that came up in the interim of how he was involved with other people, or how he involved himself with other people, didn't matter. Wasn't concerned. Didn't matter. It was an afterthought, at best. It was never supposed to be this whole big thing that he'd get into. So, yes, I mean Ian, not Ethan. It was an entire thing that would just be, yes, I'm known for my famous clip of shitting on Bozo the Clown. Oh, where's Bozo the Clown now? He's around. There are other figures that have had this done to them in the past. Most of the time, this being something coming from the sides of, like, Keemstar. But I don't think there's a content creator right now on YouTube, other than Keemstar, that is familiar to this kind of level behavior. In terms of weaponizing people and then leaving them to the wolves to fend for themselves because you decided they're not good enough of a content source to be referenced to anymore. At least in my viewpoint, the only one that I can think of at this exact moment, maybe Tommy. I think Tommy's probably the only one. Because I've been thinking about talking to Tommy for about a week and a half now. I just haven't made the connection to do so. But it came up in my mind the other night when he put out a post where he was commenting on the particular behavior of Idubbz and how she was acting fatherless. It's not something that people are really prepared to really deal with because it's supposed to be hee hee ha ha funny. We're supposed to be having fun watching content. It's not supposed to be that serious. It's not supposed to be that deep. And the fact that he's done it to multiple other figures, how many of these people did he basically no call, no show to? And then never show a single bit of remorse for by actually talking to them directly. Any apology he's ever given was done by blatant statement, not done directly to the person.
I'm going to be honest, right? It's a tough pill to swallow when people to this day make fun of you. Because when you were a little kid, a little autistic kid, you broke down and turned to the one place you felt safe turning to. When you called me for Creator Clash 1, the anthem, I was honored. But something that you never told people, and I kept my mouth shut for the longest time, is I never got paid to do Creator Clash. No, you guys want to know how Creator Clash went? I'm just going to knock the whole Creator Clash thing out, like right fucking now, okay? Because this is where I'm going to get the most mad. I went out there for a second time, gave you your most viral fucking moment for your stupid boxing event, right? And don't get me wrong, it's not stupid, it's a good cause, right? But the fact, I'm pissed, dude. I went there, I wasn't getting paid, you flew me out the night before, I didn't get checked into a hotel room till close to fucking midnight. The next morning, when I went to the event, I was supposed to have a spot I could go to where I could be alone because I don't do too good with large crowds, you know, where I could just go practice for a bit, get myself in the mood, and I got put in a little side room with the catering, with people coming in and out. I'm like nervous as shit. And it was so bad to a point when the arena manager came in to get something, and I was sat there kind of nervous. I didn't like people just walking in on me like that. It's one thing to know you're going on stage and know you're going to do it. It's another thing we just randomly have people walk in. He came up to me, and what's the first thing he says to me? Hey, man, I'm a veteran, and, you know, I just want to make sure you're not about to go out there and fuck this all up, right? Like, you're not about to go out there and wreck this thing, are you?
That's definitely something you say to somebody who you're trying to bring out as an honor.
Oh, fuck yeah! That's what I want to fucking hear before I perform. Oh, and what's fucking better? I got one sentence with you the whole fucking trip. The guy who brought me out to do it said one sentence to me the entire time. How I didn't get mad. Nah. Mother side of me is too fired up now. I sat there and gave you another legendary performance. And again, what was I left with? Nothing. I didn't get paid. I didn't get no fucking sponsorship. And don't get me wrong, I was happy to do it unpaid because it was for a good cause. But I was expecting to at least be able to hang with you at some point before the fight, or get more than just a sentence, or maybe have you say something like, hey, good luck, like I did to you during the one little sentence exchange we had. I said to you, yeah, good luck out there, man. I hope you do good, man. You're doing something good here. Kiss your fucking ass. You don't seem to understand, Ian, that every time you've caused drama for yourself, in some capacity, it's always trickled down to me. You made that content cut. And a lot of people are mentioning to me, I couldn't escape it. I never could escape your fucking gravity. And yet here I am, and I still stand. And you know what? Okay. I'm still standing, and I've slipped and tripped a bunch of times, fallen on my face a few times, but I'm still fucking standing, okay? Anyhow, this is kind of my first time addressing this in all a formal way, a more thought out and more actual, precise way. And don't you think it's kind of weird, the position you put me in? It was solved by your boogeyman, Sam Hyde. Yeah, your Baba Yaga took care of me. Man that I should have been afraid of because of your experience with him. He became my messiah. And he helped me. And that's your arch nemesis right there. By the way, that wasn't even orchestrated. I didn't even realize that was the dude that was fucking with you. You know, my best friend B, he originally reached out to Sam for me because, like, I was going through some shit. I was going homeless that fucking week when I reached out to him. Because, guess what? Some of the trolls that came from you were calling my landlord at the time, making death threats to a point that I was asked to move. And
Wow. So you ended up getting him dragon lorded. The Candyman that cometh to save, when the fucking sewer man cometh to destroy. Wonderful. Great. That's so nice. Oh, I guess they have a giant capacity for empathy, don't they, Ethan? Excuse me, Ian. You guys have way too close names. Idubbbz.
and given a 1 week notice. So my buddy B reached out on a whim and got me on Fish Tank Season 1. So by the way, that wasn't even fucking orchestrated. I didn't even know who the guy was until after I was already on my way. And you know what the worst fucking part is? I reached out to you first. I reached out to you about that situation. I didn't ask you for money. I said, I need some advice. And then you sat there and told me, sometimes you just gotta cut the bleeding limb off and get a job. Is that what you say to someone that you thought had potential? Or is that something that you say to someone that you consider a waste? Answer me that, Ian. The very demon that haunted you. And a random man in relation to you. My friend B and Sam helped change me into the man that I am today. I was just a teenager when my fucking dad died. And now I'm sitting here in my own home. That I own. That I had a hand in fucking building. You know what's even infinitely better? In the past year alone, I've lost nearly 150 pounds.
Good for you.
Yeah. That's the truth right there. But, you know what? I feel like this needs to be said publicly. Sad as it may seem, Sam has never once said a bad thing to me about you. And I mean that. He's never mentioned it. Never even mentioned you. He doesn't give a fuck. I mean, come on, man. He just helped a fellow man down in their luck. And right now, you know, I needed a friend, you know? You know, thank God. Thank God he was listening. And he sent me B, and he sent me Sam. Because it sure as hell, not on Satan's left nutsack, was it you. I'm gonna be honest with you. That content cop situation, and I mean woof rough. I mean, you're not really seeing the big picture, are you? Those friends of yours harassed my dude. And I mean, they seriously harassed him. Worse than any of the Stubbs harassment I've ever gotten. You gotta be kidding me. The fact that you were backing these guys up after they had CPS show up to that person's house. I can't even talk proper. After they had CPS show up to H3's house, dude. At 6 fucking a.m. You had those... You ask someone who's dealt with CPS before. Do you know how terrified those fucking kids must have been, Ian? Or are you too fucking greedy and selfish to think about that? About how their kids must have fucking felt. And don't even get me started, that idiot saying, oh, they don't form memories 3. Meanwhile, scientists disagree. People with a degree disagree. People with half a brain cell disagree. But those are your friends, right? Right? I don't get what the fuck it is that you gain from chilling with these people.
Social proof. The answer to his question is he gains social proof. Or rather, he gains relevance. Because what has Idubbbz been dealing with for the past, 5 months? Getting felted constantly by Kino Casino, looking at his boring-ass podcast that not even I could be able to fucking sit through because of how ineffably annoying Anissa is to listen to on the content. The constant back and forth, the oversharing, seemingly attempting to get him to give her a divorce of all things. If it's not just because she wants to torture the shit out of him and be miserable with him together. It gets him social proof. It gets him immediate relevant connection. It gets him all those people that I had to mention as I was going through it the other day, explaining the background behind the people who are basically the invited members of content creators that are going to Creator Clash, either as support or as the girlfriend or boyfriend of these influencers in his nexus. It gets him the clout off of them. In terms of Ethan Klein, it gets him people that are going to say, "Oh man, I can't believe that he's crazy." Yeah, I know, it's so weird. It's so weird how aggressive and how unnormal he is. It gets him the attention factor of the modern audience of people from Twitch. It gets him Twitch content creators and Twitch subs and Twitch donos. It gets him individuals that will feel bad for him and tell him, "Listen, it could be a lot worse for us guys. We could have a lot better things going on for ourselves." But not a damn single person to consider the consequences because of their involvement. Because who has to care about the involvement? Idubbbz said that this is what's important. It's about having empathy at the age of 30 plus. Only now did he gain that empathy. But fuck empathy for anybody who's not a part of that particular viewpoint. Anything outside that viewpoint doesn't exist, doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. They're just chuds. They're just chuds. They don't exist. It's not real. As long as there's not a victim to complain, it's not real. That's what he gets. Optics. It all comes down to fucking optics. Are you too late for the Idubbbz slander? No.
I mean, think about it like this. But you have a swastika sword.
I still hate this talking point. It's the worst talking point you could attack him for. They would love for you to be able to dismiss it as swastika sword, but whatever.
Uzi symbol, and you're wearing the fucking Palestinian flag. You really think that was gonna win your fans over, man? Do you really think something like that is gonna be that gets people going, "Yeah, my ear jimmies are jingling"? Or is that some shit that's gonna get people looking at you like, hats off for the funeral march, because that definitely at the end, you know? Bum 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 bum. Hats off, thumb in my pocket. Yeah, it's over here. If rubbing shoulders with your enemies, you know, if that's no big deal, then why are we here? Why did you cut me off completely? That's something I want to know. Why? Why was Froggy Fresh banned from the event? Was it because he was trained by Sam Hyde? Sam Hyde? Is that why you have me blocked and everything? I mean, come on, it's the same thing with Ethan, right? It's worse because it's involving children. That's the worst part. You're doing this to a man and his kids. This ain't just a one-on-one situation now. This is becoming personal, bro. Since
I would say it was already personal when they decided to do the thing that they have done to him to everybody else on the internet, right? So, like, the same way that I had problems with people in Once Human, same way I had problems with people trying to come into my community and do whatever they wanted in it because, hey, I was told you're the based one. That means you're supposed to accept when I do things like this to you. When I had people try to get involved into anything that I did, or the same way any of us could have been fucked with by any group of people with anything, that's when it got personal. It's annoying enough when it's people doing shit for attention and for clout, but it didn't stop with attention and clout. It was boredom. It started as, we're bored and we want to take our problems out on you type shit. And it was personal then. Because it doesn't feel like it's a shitpost. It doesn't feel like it's a joke. But no, it's gone way past the point of where it would just be, oh, this is just personal stuff that may or may not matter. No, this shit has gotten to the point where there should have been someone who was sent to jail for this shit now. Like, this is no longer something to be considered humor. Never was. And I'd be hard-pressed to hear or see a person convince themselves that that's the case. And that's just for people who are just playing video games. That's just people who get up and they broadcast, and they stream, and they make videos. Right? We're at the point where companies are justifying the behavior of influencers who are involved in these events, who are not willing to tell the truth. And the truth of the matter is that they have no problem doing what they're doing because it gets them money. And when they were doing it for the attention of money, it was already too personal. Now people are threatening a man's livelihood and his family. And they're making excuses for why it should keep going on. And unfortunately, bro, it's funny, huh? Doesn't really get it across the margin. We've watched people's accounts get destroyed by YouTube and Twitch and every other platform for less. So, I'd say it's beyond personal there. At this point, where people are denying it in front of a live studio audience, and they're then telling them actually it's justified because actually I don't remember these things happening to them at an early age. And it's also acceptable because it's not that big of a deal. They're just upset that they can't silence our opinions. It's completely fine because I heard from a friend of a friend that actually it's super based that we're doing this. Like, we're fighting a real fight, brother. The levels of cope that takes. The sheer levels of cope that takes. And there are people who are still trying to justify it right now. Still trying to argue that it's acceptable and okay right now. I don't know how to help those people. Don't know if I'd want to. But I don't know how to help those people. What gets those guys to understand how far this has gone beyond the pale? That shit doesn't fucking matter. And the only other reason why they haven't jumped on top of them to punish them for any of this is I don't even think that they know where to start. Where would YouTube or Twitch know where to start? Assuming that they gave a fuck to actually do something directly about it. Your guess is as good as mine, chat. It is chaos. It's revolving chaos. And then they shake the shit up, and like an SSH, they expect it to just blow away. But the people who are victimized by it have never forgotten, or are not allowed to forget. For people like me, it's like, oh, I can just play a different video game. And then I can ban those people from my server. And I can also ban them from my YouTube chats and my Twitch chat. I can block out engagement with them whatsoever. But that's just because it's happening to me, and I'm who I am. This guy, biggest troll of YouTube, I could probably say Idubbbz is. Or at least the biggest known troll that has gotten to the point of turning that antagonism into money, and then allowed to change the context of his behavior. As, well, I was just shitty back then. I've changed, I'm different now. But he hasn't shown any difference of his behavior in any capacity. He says he's different, but he doesn't actually act different. He says he's changed, but the consistency of his behavior shows that he doesn't actually think that himself. Because, hey, the biggest thing he thought that was a problem was, I'm not supposed to do this no more. Content Cop was just bullying. It was just bullying guys. But I guess it was worth it to bully your ex-friend, huh? It was worth it. It was necessary. He's literally ontologically evil. He's deontologically evil. Go full Vosh. Just transform into full Vosh. That's what should happen. Not just him, but Destiny too. Damn, so based, so cool, so based. And all of it just for money? For relevance? So that he could get away with being smug while also raising money for charity? That seems to me to be the only other angle that he gets. He gets to recontextualize his behavior as, that was when I was a bad guy. Please, I'm raising money for charity. Let me get away with being a scumbag. Let me call him a slur just for taste.
Well, Force, really have grown quite a bit. I've been asked to go on the Howard Stern show. Wilson, I've met Kai Cenat. I was even on ESPN puking at the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Formed at 5 different bowling lads, alright? Opened up for fucking Playboy Cardi. And of course, at the same time, Travis Scott for Complex Con. And yet, I performed, I opened up for Shane Gillis for a sold-out show back when he was in Boston, Badlands Chugs fucking does regular work with me. I'm still uploading weekly to my channel. Still doing all this fucking work. Even when I'm a turtle with a shell that's had C4 put on it and exploded. I've started this weight loss journey. I've built a fucking home. I'm making strong friendships. And I've come to have a family now that I actually care about. A family that isn't going to turn their fucking back on me. Something you desperately need, and you ain't gonna get like this. To be able to put my side of the story out there, how hard it is to find any semblance of normalcy in my life. Because that documentary has done so fucking much. I can't get a fucking 9 to 5 anymore. I can't go get a regular job even. And that's not the only reason. But that one video has more views than any of my videos combined. So, especially now that you're so PC, judgmental of your past, how come you won't address our friendship? How come you choose to run away from your biggest video subject that you ever had? When your newest, biggest video ever would have literally been redeeming yourself by helping that subject turn things around. Where's my pat on the back? I want you to understand that I do appreciate all the opportunities that you've done here. Because it's brought me to a point where I am today. But there are parts that still to this day, unfair, causes me fucking pain. And it sucks. Because I've done all that for you, but you can't have one conversation with me. I respect you as a creator. You know what I'm saying? You can't not have respect for you. You're a legend. The name Idubbz TV is always going to exist in some capacity. Whether it's a joke or something we take serious. I valued the friendship we had. I also need you to understand that every time you point a finger at someone, there are at least 100 fingers pointing right back at you. How are you going to be so judgmental when, you've got yourself into situations like this and you've got them unsolved? I mean, come on. You believe in karma? Do you believe in redemption at all? Have you actually considered a redemption arc without coming back for me. And after all, you left me to the dust, man. You left me holding the bag. And the worst part is, that bag, to this date, is still empty. Just dust in the wind. So I'm reaching out today. Not with Hassan, crocodile tears, or some weird black guy in the background dancing with me. That makes no fucking sense. I'm not sitting here with some chick gaslighting me as I gaslight her. But as a man, face to face, YouTuber to YouTuber, I'm gonna read this to you real quick. I hope we can have an open conversation about this in the future. Maybe we can even work together again, but this time, it makes sense for both of us, and not just you. Drop your shield, hit me up. I'd love to film a Full Force 2 with you, show how much my life has changed. And heck, I'd love to come help you with Creative Class 3. Matter of fact, fuck the rest of this. Fuck the rest of it. There's a little bit more, but fuck that. All in all, look, as much shit as you have done to me, I still would like to have a friendship with you. I still would like to have a conversation with you. I still would like to help you do good things. So please, unblock me. Let's talk. Hop in a call. Record it if you wanted to, for all I gave a shit, but can we not have one conversation after all I've done for you?
Passionate, deep, heartfelt. This is the way it is because it wasn't a friendship for Ian. Who was the black dude in the video anyway? Sam the dude. Sean the Black. He is a former TikToker who is the face of attitudes of people on Twitch. The new echelon of up-and-coming content creators. He is just a dick rider. Right. Now, if the computer would stop lagging, I could click on Flogren's link. Because fortunately, her video is still up.
Hi, my name is Frogan, and this is...
Damn, that is exactly what a Muslim does. A Muslim chooses to wear a piece of paraphernalia on themselves that says John Brown Hunting Club. Yep. You are very religious. You are a very religious white girl. You are very religious. I believe you. I believe you. And it broke. And I fixed it.
This is the first time I'm ever making a solo YouTube video about everything that has happened the last year and a half. I address everything on my podcast, Idubbbz, which you can find the link below, but...
I'm not giving you or Raph or anyone else clicks, and you are not going to get that out of us. You're not Ethan Klein. You don't have an industry position like that for something that he does. You don't deserve that. No. We're not going to give you views, clicks, links, and likes because you desperately need Cutie Cinderella and others to platform you. Absolutely not. Abso-fucking-lutely not.
Today, it's just going to be you and I. I think the content cop was great. You know, I feel like
What was great about it?
Ian approached it in a way that nobody else does.
How did he approach it in a way that nobody else did?
He approached it with empathy and...
Oh, is that what it called? Is that what it's called? You bring on the enemies that have been harassing you and your family for months on end, actively thinking that this shit is a joke, that this shit is sweet, that this shit is cute, that it's something to be just laughed at. Guys, it's not that serious. It's just us having fun at his expense. That's approaching it in a way that nobody ever has before, huh? That's considered a good use of your time. That's considered a meaningful and optically important way to address problems, right?
You know, it was supposed to make people feel bad for Ethan. One of the main things, especially as content creators, people tend to dehumanize us and forget that we're living normal people just like you.
No, we don't forget. We remember that in how we choose to criticize you. Because maybe when Tectone calls you Jabba the Hutt, you realize, throwing the hype, that the reason it's not acceptable is that you suspend your good faith and your understanding of people for when it is acceptable to antagonize and shitpost in someone. As most people tend to. Which is why not everybody can be a content creator. And not everybody can not only be a content creator, but not everybody is meant for being a public-facing content creator. Because sometimes, it's important to understand that consequences don't just stop when you've decided a person deserves to have shit said to them and done to them. It doesn't start being acceptable to treat someone like dog shit because you decided internally, oh, they deserve what they're getting. It's okay. Don't cry for him. He deserves what he's getting. Oh, why? He wouldn't shitpost about terrorists and sympathizing for those terrorists with us. Yeah. He wouldn't let us have a win. And so in not letting us have a win, we decided that it was open season on his family. Oh, he also didn't agree with our viewpoints about our shitposts, where we were trying to antagonize people and hope that they didn't know what Sabra meant. So it's also acceptable for us to call them a slur about a person who is indigenous to the region, because we also don't like Jews. Of all the things that they agree with us on, they didn't let us get away with that, and so we decided it was justified, right, good, and worthy to treat them like a non-human. We backed every single play. We backed every single comment. We decided every single response that we would give was acceptable. And we have little to no sympathy, let alone consequences, coming to us, when we do not believe that we should have them coming to us, because we don't see a single thing wrong with what we said and did. You guys are just mad coping, and you also forgot that we're humans. No, that doesn't work. No, sorry, that doesn't fly. That not only doesn't fly, but that's just outright bullshit. No, that's not what's happening. That's not what's going to happen. And that's not what happened. That was not what was happening. You're lying to people. Because if that's what you think humanity is when you suspend good faith. Because, guys, I think it'd be really funny if we made them act like they were a social reject. And it'd be really funny if we treated them like they were monsters. And we pretend that they never had a good talking point to complain about. We treated them like they didn't matter, didn't exist, and we're just victims of their crazy outbursts. It'd be really funny if we act like they're a monster. It would be really funny, bro. Bro, it'd be really funny. If that's humanity to you, I'm about to be the most decent humanitarian we've ever seen on this side of the internet. And it's acceptable because you deserve to have that done to you. By all means, you deserve to have a little bit of criticism. Any of the jokes that you think are acceptable to other people, oh, you deserve to have some of that pushed back to you. Because it's just words. You don't have to listen. You could turn it off. You know what he can't turn off? People showing up to his house, inspecting his kids, inspecting him, inspecting his wife, inspecting his employees, inspecting his business. Because I heard from a friend of a friend from an anonymous tip-off that your children are being sexually, physically, emotionally abused. That you're not taking care of them. That you're a bad father. And therefore, we need to look into whether or not we're going to take away your children. Oh, why is that? Because on the internet, some guy decided you didn't laugh hard enough at this joke targeting people of your background. So they decided it was good to take your kids away. Yeah. It's called being a decent human being. Evil.
So obviously, with so much pressure on the internet, both on myself, and I'm sure Ethan can relate to this too, it's fucking hell. It's hard to manage. It's hard to deal with. So I feel like Ian approached it in a way that was more so holding a friend accountable and...
holding your friend accountable actually means holding your friend accountable. Holding your friend accountable is not signal boosting the harassment campaign of the people that he doesn't want to be near or associated with, and then acting like they're just innocent little victims who didn't do nothing. That's
in a softer way, and wanted to generate empathy for Ethan. Other people don't do that.
How do you generate empathy for Ethan if you frame Ethan as though he is a crazy person who's having a crash out moment? Because, you know, describing how people are treating you poorly is crashing out. Something that no matter how many times people try to frame that to me, I am always going to push back against. Because it's the reason why people get annoyed with this shit in the first fucking place. God forbid that he's allowed to have emotions. God forbid he's allowed to react to the stimuli you're placing on him. What is in my eye? God forbid that he is allowed to respond to how you've decided it was acceptable to suspend those basic concepts of civility because you didn't like how he was talking, and you didn't like how he was being spoken to, and you didn't like how your God King was having to deal with the pressure of someone who was better at his job than him, having the ability to tell him, no, you're coping. No, you're wrong. You can't even react to what I have to say. You can't even tell me the reason why I'm upset. You can't describe what I'm saying because you have mastered not being able to address it because you have so much skill in not addressing it. Right over your heads.
And I've even said this before. I feel like we need to stick to the basics as to why Ethan Klein deserves to be criticized, and that is for being pro-Israel and trying to deplatform pro-Palestinian content creators. I think it's...
And therefore, it's okay for his children to be potentially stolen from him because you didn't like the fact that he called you an idiot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so bad for you. Damn, that's so sad for you. That's so crazy.
insane to involve his children and anybody else that really doesn't deserve the criticism. I think Kayla deserves the criticism as well too, because she
Why?
says some batshit crazy things on the podcast as well.
Okay, but did you address those things in your own time, or did you just decide to loop her into it because her husband's more famous? Which one did you actually do? You guys didn't do that one. You did the other one. So that was a lie.
And I've said this, and I'll say it again. If you're spewing pro-Israel propaganda, I'm going to call you out about it. I received a text asking to say something nice about Ethan, and to be honest, I thought about it long and hard because I was like, this man does not deserve anything nice from me. But I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. Maybe it'll give me some closure. So I wrote a letter to Ethan, and I read it off, and Idubbbz put it in the video, and this was Ethan's reaction to the video.
I bet you would.
I will be reading my letter off because I don't want to sound robotic. H3 used to be the sports for good that I used to watch. I hope that one day gets back to what I remember. You were one of the inspirations for me to start creating content, so all this has stunk. I hope you really hear this, and I wish you the best.
I think.
Listen,
Thank you.
Rogan, she's so dumb that you almost can't be even mad at her. Like,
She did wish us the best in the end. It almost felt like the nicest one of them all.
I think she was the only one being genuine,
Yeah.
actually. So I don't want to, whatever, just Rogan, just chill, okay? Just stop being an idiot and I'll stop talking about you. It's really simple math.
She's also by far the smallest creator of the bunch.
Right.
I mean, is it even like cool that he included her? Like, she's just gonna get more shit for being
It's
involved.
not. It's not cool.
And,
on
like,
his
it's
behalf.
not- it's
He
tot-
knows what like this entails.
This part made me laugh because it was very tone deaf, and he's acting like half of his content nuke wasn't about me. Half of the content nuke, the entire ending half, was about me. So if I'm so irrelevant and so uncool to include, why the fuck was I in your goddamn video?
Like, Hassan can handle it, but like Frogan's now just gonna get a pile of shit on top of her that I have no control over because people are watching, millions of people are watching his video, by the way, and they're reacting to it, and they're not having good reactions
Not
to it.
just our audience.
Far from our own, yeah.
I think it's funny that you think me being in the Idubbbz video is what's going to cause this harassment. But in reality, it's you, Ethan, You're acting like you haven't spent the last year and a half doing everything in your power to push people to bully and harass me, including weaponizing propaganda organizations such as the ADL to
Amal.
get me banned off Twitch because I made a joke about you not being able to say Habibi.
Amal, no. And that's also you lying again. So, we're going to take the Destiny approach here. Not a single one of you have been harassed by Ethan Klein and the greater audience he has with the H3 podcast, with his original channel, any side channel he owns, or any side business he owns. And seemingly, because I haven't heard this ever happening with any of his employees, any employees of his deciding to put their opinion out there. And much like how Destiny said it, when he said it about the Taliban, before we knew that he was fucking crazy as batshit, if he actually put his thumb on the scale and actually said, no, it's open season, fuck this woman, I want to see nothing but the most devious and fucked up slurs that we can come up with her. He actively worked with Tectone. He actively worked with any person who's a friend of Tectone. He actively worked with any person you ever had in your background and went out of his way to try and put dirt on your name. Actually put some dirt in your eye. You would know that's what it looks like when you're being fucked with and when you're being harassed. You have not been harassed. You've been criticized. Criticism feels like harassment because equal treatment feels like you're being singled out. The criticism and the equal treatment feels like bullying and inconsideration because you're not used to being in a position where you're treated equally by other people. Because in the Twitch hug box, you're not used to people being willing to say something to your face and being willing to treat you like you're a human. Because you're not used to having people treat you like a human. Because your friends treat you like a tool. You are a tool that is to be used to attack personal people, to get involved with, and to antagonize other people on a platform. You have never been treated like you were a friend. You've never been treated like you have value by simply being who you are. Everything you do is performative. And because it is performative, it requires you and everyone else acting a certain way, behaving a certain way, being perceived a certain way, in order for you to justify your further involvement, your further entrenchment with everything that you could do, that you could say, that you have said, and will potentially say again in the future. They don't treat you like you're a person. They treat you like you are a tool. And you are more than happy to be treated as that tool, because you being a tool gets you access. As long as you're treated like a useful idiot, you are given attention. You're given consideration. You're remembered when it comes time to do all the shit that you're involved in. But unfortunately, as you well damn know, that will not last. They will treat you like this for only as far as they can throw you. And the second that you couldn't get coverage, when it went from, haha, we are just making fun of him and we're just having considerations and we just have opinions about how we think we should be spoken to and about how his actions work. And it became Frog in the Hut, where Tectone pulls you off to the side and says, hey, immutable characteristics. You shouldn't say it about me. Other people shouldn't say it about you. But hey, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, bitch. What's good? Your reaction shouldn't be, oh, I can't believe you guys did this. How horrible. And you still haven't changed your attitude. Because what did you do the second that came back? What did you say the second that people looked into it? Based? Based? I'm not taking it back. Based? Based? we can trust you for as far as we can fucking throw you. And that's not far. But even if we were to say, listen, water under the bridge, it's all content at the end of the day. What really matters is whether or not people understand what's really important. You don't even understand what's fucking important. You don't get what you've done, even if you really do fucking care. Because the only way you can be forced to care is if people keep hammering you like this. Time and time again, you and other content creators like you on Twitch show that you have a fear of being perceived. The only way that you bring yourself to understand how fucked up your actions and your behaviors are is when people make fun of you frequently. And while making fun of you frequently, do so in a way where you can't escape the criticism, where you can't escape the antagonization, where you can't escape the jokes and the memes, where you're sitting there crying saying, I can't believe people treat me like this. We can't believe you treat yourself like this. Going all in for people who would never go all in for you. To spread around the hate that you choose to give. And then, when it gets really bad for you, you want to be blubbering. Saying, oh, woe is me, woe is me. They treat me like this. This can happen to anyone. It can happen to you. No, it's happening to you. It's happening to you. Because that's what you thought was cool. It's happening to you. Because that's what you chose to invite into your life. I didn't do it to you. He didn't do it to you.
But no, it's Idubbbz, one of the only major creators besides Hassan who has actually defended me publicly in the last few months.
Because they're the only people who are using you in the last few months. You should be picking up the note on that. But you know, water under the bridge. Water under the cowl.
This next section is about the double standards of Ethan's thinking. Let's get started with this clip.
Personally, though, and I've seen Hassan do this before, is he's accused me of it. He goes, "Oh, you just hate Muslims." It's like, bro, can you actually can you actually please just respond to a real argument? Like, please, bro. You know, he just like, you can't just sweep everything away by saying that. It's just not right. Are people very cruel to her? Yeah, for sure. You know, it's just, I don't know, man.
I don't know how to explain this to you, Ethan, because this is something you claim all the time, but some people are actually racist. Ethan claims people are mean to him all the time because they're racist, using his religion as a shield to criticism, as he claims people are doing to me. A lot of the comments I get are about me being a hijabi and me being Muslim, so no. People are not more charitable to me because I wear the hijab, and I wish that was the case.
Well, that's not true, because if it wasn't that, then you wouldn't use that as defense all the time. Because what did you guys do immediately when this came up in the middle of this content? You said, oh, you can't criticize her for that because she's Muslim, despite the fact that she is not Muslim. She, in this case, being Idubbz' wife, Anissa Yoma. You were quick to reach for that fucking card until the entire internet slapped that shit out your goddamn hand. So that's not true. Same thing happened with Denims. You said the same shit about Denims. Pretty sure Denims isn't a Muslim either. At the very minimum, if you want to go the angle of saying you are ethno-religious, if she's ethnically Muslim, that'd be one thing. If you're ethnically Muslim, that's one thing. You choose to wear a hijab every single time you make an appearance. So, if it's a religious thing, that'd be maybe one angle you can get away. But, culturally, not a single fucking one of you follow the fucking statements of Islam. I don't know what the fuck you call yourself, but it's not Islamic. You don't behave like it. You don't follow the tenements. You don't follow the charters. You don't follow the pillars. Shut up. It's probably the weakest thing you could use to defend yourself. But let's be fair. Let's say that that's the case. Okay, live your standards then. Lead by example. Show us how we should all behave. When you start acting that way, that's when I'll identify and I'll recognize that. Because there are plenty of things that I could say. I'm meaner than Tectone. There are words I can invent on the spot right now that will haunt you. But hey, I don't even have to reach for it. Who knows if you'll even be able to reach it yourself.
I have never. They accuse me of doing it. They go, "Oh, Ethan's just targeting Arab and Muslim creators." It's like I have never one time mentioned her hijabi or brought anyone's fucking identity into my criticism of them.
You haven't said anything about me being Muslim directly, but your ideas about Muslims are pretty obvious.
He didn't say anything about you directly, which means he didn't say anything about you. Shut up.
From what you say, here are a few of many examples.
Why don't you just make it easier? Why don't you just fly to ISIS and do them a favor and just let them, you know, just serve yourself on a platter for them because you deserve it. Like, I think per capita, a lot of the weird fucking terrorism and crimes and shit.
So, let's see here. Old clip.
I mean, there's definitely some strong thread of violence through the Muslim community, or Arab Muslims to be more specific.
The next thing I want to bring up are the double standards both Ethan and Gila have for themselves. Let's get started with this clip.
We misspoke. It didn't sound good. We immediately corrected ourselves. You know, that's how mature people do. That's how how you're supposed to handle yourself, isn't it? Like, what more do you want me to do?
I have no problem apologizing and admitting and whatever is needed when things happen.
This was in response to people bringing up how Gila said Yoav Gallant was a great guy, even though he's literally a war criminal and pro-genocide. I'm a live streamer as well. I know being live for hours and hours on end,
You are hardly a live streamer. If you're a live streamer and Hassan Piker is a political pundit, then I am a goddamn master of fucking ceremonies. Because I am. Come on now. You doing a thing does not mean that you are good at doing that thing. Same criticism can exist for me, by the way. Just because I broadcast, and I broadcast anywhere for 4 to 16 hours of content on whatever thing I choose to do, does not mean that therefore I deserve to have the high ground to describe and or criticize any person in question. But what we're not about to do is say, oh, well, I do the job too, and I understand that it can be hard for people to get things. You barely do content. The content that you do is eating food on camera and then laughing about the antics that you did to bully people online. Using the hatred that you share about other people to bring yourself attention that you have not earned, to be given consideration and remembered as a person that exists. People forget that you exist. That's not to be mean and cruel about you. People legitimately forget that you exist because they're not immediately being reminded about a clip of you. If it wasn't for influencers, I would call him an influencer in this case because he is actually influencing the culture by posting clips of all of you, even though sometimes he tends to post clips out of context or cuts certain clips off before certain points of context, probably because he's using Twitter for free rather than as a premium. If Awkward20k was not posting as the TMZ of streamers and content creators and influencers, people would not know who the fuck you are. That is sad, considering that you're a friend of both Cutie Cinderella and Ludwig, since they keep bringing you onto their streamer-created event and keep giving you the Rising Star Award. If you're supposed to be a Rising Star content creator who's supposed to understand how to do her fucking job, how is it that you're so goddamn dog shit at it every single time you'll have a chance to do something interesting, or funny, or cool? At the very minimum, I'd say you're a broadcaster. Because being a streamer means you gotta have a lot more things going on than just having a stream. But let's say that's the standard we want to go for. A streamer is a person who broadcasts to a platform and does so regularly. You're a bad streamer. In general, you're a bad streamer and a bad content creator. But no, just because you stream on Twitch and you have the waiting room audience of Hassan Piker in your chat more often than not, does not mean that you are somebody who understands how content works, how content goes, and thus understands what's going on here better than anybody else would. it is very hard to trust that you actually understand how to handle things. Simply because of how you choose to carry yourself. And how you choose to act when it's consistent and viable for you to do so. So, that's really up in the air if you really want to be fair about it. But I'm not going to go to you for the standard of how things should be done. Because you are inconsistent as hell. Inconsistent as hell.
Misspeak, and that is exactly what happened whenever I said the thing about the U.S. military. I said it in a way in which I didn't mean, and I also clarified it on Twitter by saying the U.S. military...
That is a lie. Because what you actually did is that you doubled down on it. Again, based, you doubled down on it. For clout. You did it in that way because you knew people were watching you do it. And you said, I'm going to do something really funny. So, you're a bad streamer, not because you don't know how to make attention for yourself off of your streaming content, but every time you choose to involve yourself with streaming content, you do it in the way that gets you the most attention for doing something viral. Not something that matters, not something that's interesting, not something that's useful. You do things in certain ways to get a maximum amount of negative attention. If it helps you look good, you're doing it. And unfortunately, for me, I don't think that should be rewarded. I think that kind of behavior is the kind of reason why people do not like broadcasters, why they don't like streamers, why they think all of us are fucking nuisances and people farming for attention in the economy of likes and shares and virality and engagement and reach. The way that you choose to do things is why they don't like us. In my opinion. And the fact that you would try to lie about that despite it being seen by everybody's goddamn eyes, who are you fooling? Oh, see, you can see that this is what he actually thinks about Muslims from these old clips that are 4 to 5 years old. Okay, here's what we know is a lie from you from these clips that are less than 3 months old. Which one's more likely to be more consistent? The ones that happened years ago or the ones that are less than a year ago?
military has conducted some of the most horrific crimes against humanity in the modern era in countries such as Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine. My anger is directed at individuals who are currently championing these war crimes as if they liberated my people. It's horrific and disgusting. The beginning of the clip was worded poorly, and I do apologize for that. I go on to clarify in the clip that I do not mean all military, but specifically those with no remorse. What I said was out of frustration as they are currently bombing my family in the name of liberation. I realize that wishing people harm isn't the best way to talk about these issues and that I could have talked about these topics in a more sensitive way. And like I said initially, I'm not granted that charitability at all.
I wanted.
You're not granted that charitability at all because you do not grant it to anybody else. You don't get to decide that people are granted civility based on how you feel in the moment. You either grant it at all times and you treat yourself like you're a fucking senator and an ambassador, or you don't speak. Because we're content creators. We're streamers, Frogan. It's not our place to give people the attention and opinions about geopolitical politics. We were not meant to be asked this. And half the reason most of you have been getting the heat that you deserve from the hate that you give to people is this is how you choose to talk to everybody. You think everybody needs to play Teach the Tailor Soldiers Fly on the internet. That you need to do activism for your particular political views and your political points. That you need to play the game of politics all times, everywhere, always. And unfortunately, even though it's technically our jobs to do so, we're not supposed to be expected to do that. That's not our job. That's not our job. Our job is not to be the spokespeople of talking points. Our jobs are to entertain people. The people who are here in this broadcast right now that are on the side of the screen, opposite of my face, in the chat, they're not necessarily here to just glaze my opinion. They want to see what's being talked about, at minimum. At best, they want to support me and my talking points because they've consistently seen, or I've convinced them as such, with interactions personally or interpersonally amongst people that they know or that they've witnessed, that actually that guy has good ideas and he has a good head on his shoulders. And I agree with the way that he framed it. At minimum, I'm out here talking for myself. And there are people hearing my arguments and saying, you know what? That N-word's got some good ideas. Meanwhile, we look over the fence. What are you doing? Oh, harassing Ethan Klein again? For the 13th time? Oh, damn, that's crazy, Frogan. That'll teach them what to do down there in the West Bank. Damn, girl! When the Sunni and Shiites hear what's going on there, they're gonna start bombing the Iron Dome. They really will start singing together. It's just not a goddamn movie. My old motherfuckers act like this is a fucking movie. Unfortunately, it's not a movie that's directed by fucking Siskel and Ebert. It's a movie directed by James Franco. And it's got a lot of weed.
Explain it because people bring it up non-stop. I apologize for it right away when Ethan made a video to address this on his Ethan Klein channel. I
Next day, I think
made
it
a
was.
quick appearance in that video just to say I'm sorry, I misspoke. I shouldn't have called him a really good guy. Like, I don't know why I said it like that.
What more do you want from me? I did the same exact thing. Now we're moving on to the infamous button. So during the react to the content cop, AB started talking and the button was pushed. Here's the clip.
Authorities block healthcare to Gaza. Again, I'm not. Do you think that I'm talking about walking around Gaza? When I say how great multicultural it is,
We
did
never
you think
defended
that?
how Israel attacked Gaza since October 7th, not even once. We never
I think that's
co-signed what they did.
Is that not the point he's making though?
What?
That you're talking about how nice Israel is, but
Israel proper is different from
are-
Gaza.
Yeah,
Right,
no,
but
I
at a
understand.
time,
Millions
like right now, say
Muslims in
I
Israel.
guess that's where the
And that's the end of the clip because the button was pushed. Anytime any member of the crew gives Ethan any type of pushback, the button is pushed. And he wants to say that I'm surrounded by yes men and people can never criticize me when he doesn't allow his staff that are part of the show to give him any critique or pushback whatsoever.
No, that's not the purpose of the button. The purpose of the button is not so that he can be able to stop them from giving him criticism. The purpose of the button is so that the things that they are saying that may or may not need to be said in the moment is to stop them from going even further and having something go on that then blows back against the company, against Ethan, against the employees, because they're having real as fuck conversations behind the air that don't need to be heard. It's like whenever I have a phone call come in and I press this big button on my microphone. Now, I continued my conversation thoroughly with the point that I was making, but then I started making gestures and stood up in my chair and put my knee up on the goddamn thing. And you have no context for what the fuck I said. That's the goddamn purpose of the fucking button. If I decided that I wanted to start saying a string of words and only people who are then able to read my lips can know what I'm saying, like this. But you can't know what the fuck I said because the microphone's goddamn off. That's the purpose of the motherfucking button. Self-censorship, Frogan. You might learn from it. No, it is not the purpose for him to silence his audience members and his employees to stop them from being able to talk about shit. No! The entire purpose of the button is so that we can stop a bad moment from happening! Horror got one of them. That's the purpose of the that's the purpose of the microphone! No, Yan, the button's, it's not broken. I have a mute button. That's the purpose of the button! This need to create a narrative where clearly it must be, oh, he's trying to stop criticism from happening. No! It saves the show. What it does is that it saves the show. It gives people the ability to know what's being done. And then be filled in with context so that the show doesn't get fucking taken off YouTube. Or, in the case of just what I just did, so that I don't get banned on Twitch because I just said 5 different slurs and 3 variations of slurs in 3 different languages. That's the point. That's the job. That's what it's there for. Now, you're not familiar with that because you're not someone who is capable of, like, picking that up. That the goal of some things is that we want people to have the ability to understand what's important. What's important, in the case of Ethan Klein and his content, is to get people on the same page, to understand problems, and how to address them. Can't address problems and can't address issues if you're not capable of talking about things for what they are. And sometimes, in the recourse of addressing some real shit, they have to cut the feed. That's just how it works. That's how it's always worked. Maybe you don't get that because you're used to the Twitch side of how we make content. And the Twitch side of making content is actively trying to farm for clips. Create a happenstance. Create a moment. So that people can look at it and then laugh at the moment. And not treat it for what it is. That is something that people take for granted. Annoyingly so. It is not made better. It is made worse from that particular kind of interaction. It's cringe. I personally would like if it stopped happening like that, because most of you know better. Most of you know better. Can't attest for everybody, but most of you know better. You just choose to be performative about when it's okay and when it's not. So, let's get the fuck out of here with all that shit. Shut that shit the fuck up right now. Because you're not stupid. By all means, I can have whatever opinion I want about you in my head, but you're not stupid. And I know you're not stupid. Because you choose to selectively show your intelligence when it matters. By all means, I can do the same thing too, but I usually do it based on when it's funny. Not when I know damn well that I know better. And I just decide, nah, it doesn't fucking matter. They don't deserve civility. I don't get to suspend it for myself, you don't get to suspend it for others. And you also don't get to pretend that you don't get what's going on.
During the live show today, some of the crew defended me, and I appreciate it so much. And during this episode, AB mentioned that the most recent time we talked, him and I had a disagreement.
People are saying stop being friends with her. You guys don't know fucking shit. I have not talked to her in forever, and the last time we did talk, we had a disagreement. Like where is this coming from? Like I don't understand. That is.
This disagreement was a DM I sent him, which stated, "Hey AB, I wanted to reach out privately because responding publicly and adding to the dog pile doesn't feel right. I understand that people often overlook how tough the job market is, and I get that working for Ethan puts you in a complicated position. That said, I think what pushed people over the edge was a clip of you baiting pro-Palestinian people and blocking them. The criticism you're receiving is largely because people believe you're better than that and don't subscribe to Ethan's views. I know you've been vocal about Palestine, but I think it's important to explicitly clarify that you don't share his beliefs and that you stand on your own. Ethan is not worth the bullshit you have to deal with working for him. Honestly, there have been times where I felt anger towards you, but after some reflection, I wanted to approach you directly. I'm saying this as someone who was personally impacted by Ethan and as a cousin. I hope you understand where I'm coming from." AB didn't respond, and that's perfectly fine. I didn't expect him to. You know, I just wanted to get my feelings out. Although AB and I haven't talked in a long time, he's still somebody I care about. You know what I mean? He's like a cousin. You know, we have that bond. We're both from Dearborn, so it's like we're literally cousins. Not literally, but I don't know AB's motivations or what he feels because I'm on the outside at this point. So I am just giving my perspective from somebody on the outside. I will say the invalid points of criticism towards AB is trying to question him as an Arab, which is completely fucked up and wrong. Nobody should do that, you know? It is valid to criticize him for still working for Ethan and being silent for as long as he was. Those are valid points of criticism, but don't try to take away his Arabness because you don't agree with him. Whenever AB started streaming on Twitch, I was the first person to raid him, and I even helped him whenever he asked me for advice on what to stream. AB has also helped me in many ways as well.
That is the most terrifying sentence I have ever heard a person say in the history of content creation. I, a person who has absolutely no idea on how to properly broadcast, decided to give advice to a person, and that advice more than likely is going to ruin him in the long term, because you're telling him to do shit that's going to get his shit fucked up. Holy. Your advice is going to fuck him up. Because you barely know what to stream for yourself, Carl said, glancing over at the camera. You barely know how to broadcast for yourself. And you're going to try to give him advice on what to stream based on what? Just chatting videos? Maybe that's the only foray you have. What else could you tell him? That's a terrifying sentence. I don't know if you're not horrified. I'm fucking terrified. I'm scared. Somebody going to Frogan for advice is probably the worst thing you could have told me today. That's jump scare worthy. Put your faith in career in somebody who desperately can't even put her own goddamn work on task, let alone other people's work. You go for her for advice? Wouldn't be no. Couldn't be no.
Even a long time ago, AB included me in an H3 episode talking about why people should visit Dearborn. Here's a screenshot. It's from like 2023, I believe. He was also super supportive whenever I was nominated and won the Streamer Award.
Right, and the award goes to Chala. Frogan.
You did it! You did it, sister!
And to be quite honest, like watching this clip back made me really sad because of basically the outcome of what this has become. You know what I mean? And I have nothing but love for AB and Lena, and I wish them the best. And maybe in the future we can be friends again, to be honest.
Before she moved out here, I remember us talking and she was nervous about it. And I said, at the end of the day, you'll have me and Lena, like, before it comes to worse. And then shit just hit the fucking fan.
Yeah.
Before.
And to those who are constantly defending me and having my back, I appreciate you and thank you so much. You know, during a time like this, it feels like the damage has been done physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially. But, you know, after a year and a half of harassment, it feels very calming that people are actually finally on my side. It's been a nightmare.
Who? Name them. Name the people who have been on your side. If they're people who are not broadcasters, their opinion does not matter. Because they're not involved in this shit. Because they don't live in the streamer world. If they're broadcasters, say their name. Bring up the content they do regularly. And we can cross-reference whether or not they are in or out on Ethan Klein. And they're in or out on Ian Joma. 9 times out of 10, every name you bring up is somebody who has a direct hand in the harassment of Ethan Klein's family. Because all of you have been signal boosting never-ending antagonism of this man and his family. So, are we really about to pretend that you're an innocent victim and I used to have good friends on the inside of this man's production because they said they would be my friends forever. They were going to be my friends forever, and then everything got really crazy. Is that how you really want to frame it? Is that the lie that you're going to tell? Because that's a bold lie to say with everybody having their eye on you. Truthfully.
For me. On a more positive note, here are some of my favorite pictures taken at the shoot of the Content Cop bit. Of course, I got to see Kaya. I love her to death. And here are a couple pictures. To Ethan, if you're watching this for some reason, my message to you is that, you know, you and I have different worldviews. and you and I have different ideas for what is the best way to help people. And, you know, while I appreciate the spirit of your advocacy, I think it's misguided. You know, after all of this, you've made my life hell. I will say that.
And you make other people's lives hell? Oh, you didn't make his life hell? You didn't make any person who's against Hassan Piker's life hell? It was just sunshine and rainbows. You didn't do nothing wrong. You just didn't do nothing. You did not do anything wrong, hey BB. People just bully you for nothing. Okay. Alright.
You've made my life fucking hell. But at the end of the day, what I said at the end of the content cop still stands. I wish you the best.
Yep, that video ends like that. It just ends in that moment. 100%. That is the worst fucking thing. That is the worst fucking thing you possibly could have said, Frogan. Of all the things that you could have said is, oh, he made my life a living hell. No, you made your life a living hell. You decided that it was okay and acceptable. You decided to suspend basic civility. You decided that it was okay to go all in and be the biggest bully. You decided that the behavior was acceptable. You thought this shit was sweet. You thought this shit was sweet. And it was not. So now you're mad about things that you did to yourself that you don't want to take accountability for. Because then it means you don't get to be a big meanie. Oh, harump, harump. How sad for you, Frogan. Harump, harump. Everyone needs to cry for you. She's just a Muslim Dindu, guys. She didn't do nothing at all. She's an innocent victim. Caught up in circumstances outside of her control. Woe is her! Nobody knows the trouble she's felt. Nobody knows her sorrows. Bull fucking shit, girl. Bull fucking shit. If there's anything that you necessarily care for, you care about the fact that everything you wanted to do ended up blowing up in your face. That is it. That is the one thing that is very clear. You care about the consequences that came for getting involved. Maybe, if we want to say that you have human emotions and feelings and rights, the one thing that you clearly hate about all this is that you did not get to have access to your friends. People who probably are actively considerate for you. I can't say what AB knows about you or how he feels about you. But if we want to be fair, if we want to be civil, it probably sucks for you that all of that happens to come down and break out and spell out that way. It probably does suck that you didn't get to see your friends and you didn't get to interact with your friends in the particular format that you wanted to. But that's the hate that you gave. The shit was acceptable except when it wasn't. And then when it stopped being acceptable, it started being funny. And then when it stopped being funny, it started being acceptable again. Until it wasn't. And then it was. And then it wasn't. Hard to feel sorry for you. It's really hard to feel sorry for you. Because the way that you choose to treat people should be the way that you get treated, in my opinion. And I'm no fucking saint. I've made my own mistakes. Difference is that I've learned from them because I want to be a better person. Every content creator knows that feeling. Because nobody is asking for us to be fucking role models. But you kind of have to be one. Kind of can't go through this life doing what a lot of those of you on Twitch choose to do. And act like the reason why people have opinions about you and your antics is because, oh, they're just big meanies. No. The reaction is called for. Probably don't like how it's being called for, but no. The reaction is in fact called for. The reactions you're getting, the behavior you're getting, No, they make perfect sense. Just is what it is, I guess. Now, let's move to the follow-up from the Half-Baked Podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Half-Baked Podcast. I'm your host, Tom. With me, I have our other hosts, Nick and Vega. How's it going?
Have you guys seen Content Cop?
Big year for cops. They're making a comeback after that whole Black Lives Matter thing. It's a Blue Lives Matter year.
Dude, Trump gets into office and all the cops come back into the fold.
Yeah, all the cops just like are making waves. Comment Cop is like recreating the plot of The Departed to figure out who Nick is, if he's like a double agent, secretly hating on Bolex the entire time. And then we had one, cop mad retirement, Ian Idubbbz Joma. He's back in action with a new video.
Did he take her last name?
Yeah, he took his wife's last name.
I don't believe that.
He did take her last name.
Bro.
We were making jokes about this doing the Conquest Invincible meme. It's like, I don't even get my own last name. Jomha, that's my wife's name.
Before we get into what actually happens in this episode of Content Cop, I kind of want to paint a picture here for the people, okay? I kind of want to paint a little bit of a narrative because I thought that I had lost all interest in Content Cop personally. I'd watched Idubbbz from, I wouldn't say the very beginning of his career, but from around the time the first Content Cop came out about Jinx, I was watching him very intently. I really, really liked his stuff. He was one of my favorites on YouTube back in the day. Definitely a close follower, I would say, in a positive fashion up until maybe the Rice Gum Content Cop. And then, I would watch him here and there. I didn't really have a strong opinion about Idubbbz. I was like, he did some great stuff. It's fine that he's not doing Content Cop anymore. Whatever. He's doing other content. I like the documentary that he did about Airsoft Fatty. Obviously, the Sam Hyde one happened. That one had a lot of controversy with it. But I think that after the last creator clash, my kind of opinion of Ian was definitely lower significantly. And so I wasn't super interested in following the day-to-day activities of him. But then he announces a new Content Cop. And initially, I kind of had like a non-reaction. But then I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on? A new Content Cop?
Who'd you think it was going to be? Who'd you think?
I thought it was going to be maybe like a conservative pundit, maybe like Matt Walsh or Steven Crowder.
Really?
Yeah, because that's who he's been going after in all of his videos recently. That's who he's been targeting.
Okay.
So I thought maybe it was going to be someone like that.
He did a video on abortion, Vega.
He did.
You know that he did a recent video on abortion? He was criticizing a lot of conservative
I had no
people.
clue what he was up to.
So Tom's not completely off the mark here, but I would have said Asmongold personally.
Well, I thought it was going to be something like that. I didn't think Asmongold because I didn't think that Ian would want to punch up to someone that has like a much bigger audience because Asmongold has like a ferocious, huge audience. So I didn't think he'd want to do that. I thought he would want to do like Steven Crowder because Steven Crowder's audience isn't the type to like get into internet wars, right? They're like boomers or something.
Right.
They're an older demographic. Or I thought it was going to be...
They have lives. Is what you're
yes,
saying.
yes, unlike us. Or I thought it was going to be Sam Hyde. I was like, because, the birthday thing, but also I thought,
yeah, it was on his birthday, right?
Yeah, maybe he had a lot of pent-up resentment over what happened with Sam in the past, which I can imagine he would. And so when it was Ethan, that was a shock to me. Now, maybe if I'd been following the literature a little bit more, it wouldn't have been a huge shock. But what I will say is one thing that I found really interesting is that, like, I feel like nobody gave a fuck about any video Idubbbz was doing up until this moment when he announced a new Content Cop. And then I saw everyone on Twitter, on YouTube, all my YouTube buddies were all speculating, like, who the fuck is it going to be? Kind of back in that 2015, 16 mode.
Yeah, the build-up.
The build-up. Because, back in the day it was such a question, like, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And so I feel like now, in retrospect, after seeing the Ethan one, I feel like he probably could have had a great opportunity to just release a really great video and have it kind of revive his whole shit in a way. Like, imagine if he had made, like, an old classic Content Cop, not that he ever would, but imagine if it was, like, a decent, like, 7, 8 out of 10 video.
Bro, imagine Content Cop Kick targeting, like, the fucking for-profit pedophile hunters and
Vitaly.
shit. Yeah, literally Vitaly, who's facing...
Johnny Somali, people like that.
Dude, that would have banged.
Yeah, that would have been great.
That would have been more branding.
Yes.
Right? That would have lined up with what Content Cop is what we all know it to be. And then, Tom, I even hopped in with the artist. By the way, the animation loop on this one, what that you're watching right now is sick. Magical Porpoise on Twitter. Go compare boatloads of money. Shit's fire.
She did the Xander Hall episode, right? That's how we found her.
I think I put out a tweet.
Like one of the first couple episodes, yeah. She was like I think the last artist we picked up.
Wait, did we do a Xander Hall episode?
We did do it.
Yeah, with Xander Hall. Remember we had Xander?
Wait, we talked? No, we didn't.
She didn't do the Xander Hall one. She did the fucking one of us in the car with Tommy, which was like the art on that was crazy, bro. That was so good. Anyway, sorry. I hopped in a call with her because I was like, dude, we probably should start on the art now. So I had her do a little sketch, and then we hopped in and we started watching the Content Cop specifically just to take notes. And when we saw that it was fucking H3, I was like, wait a minute, what?
Do you know what's so embarrassing, Vega?
The Content Cop? Yeah, I know.
I had an inside source reach out to me and tell me that it was going to be H3, and I wrote them off as a liar the night before, and I was still surprised the next day.
Damn, bro.
I had somebody who actually knew tell me, and I didn't believe them.
It was Sam Hyde was the one that if I would have like boatloads of cash to see if I could double up on it, I probably would run everything on probably Sam Hyde or something like that. I would not have picked H3. His name was shuffling around out there, but I wouldn't have picked him.
Well, dude, I immediately saw this happen, and I tweeted.
I don't think it would have been Sam Hyde because in order for him to do Sam Hyde, that would require him to put a lot more pressure back onto himself, and he can't. He couldn't. He couldn't. There's no world. He would crash out immediately. The reaction that Mr. Joma and Mrs. Joma would have to Idubbbz is to immediately get angry that they even attempted to make a hit piece on Sam Hyde. Because it is a hit piece. The hit piece would fail. People would laugh at them. They'd think, what were you thinking? How could you ever think that you could come up against him? And they would get flamed for even trying. There is no world where they could have come for him and it look good. they would have been laughed at, and still are getting laughed at, up and down the fucking boardwalk. You're having a giggle. There's no world where you thought that you could do that. That you could actually be able to make a post on him and it be good. There's no world.
Tweeted Red Panty Night as like a reference to fucking Conor McGregor.
Right.
Canceled all my plans and fired up a stream. Like, I just knew, dude.
Yeah.
Good or bad, it's probably gonna be bad. It's gonna be a fucking moment.
It was a moment.
There were so many speculations. I saw 2 clips from from Gokanaru. This is pretty funny. Okay, this is pretty funny. One of them was this guy called into his stream claiming to have talked to Idubbbz and like given him info on Sam, and that's what the content cop was going to be on, about him being gay or something, about him like I don't remember what it was, sucking someone's dick or something. I don't even know. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay. And then I saw another clip of Gokanaru saying, it's not Ethan. You're a retard if you think it's Ethan, and I'm going to eat my own shoe if it's Ethan.
Oh boy.
Lo and behold, didn't turn out too well for him.
Did he eat his shoe?
Not that I've seen yet, but I did volunteer one of my old vans, so maybe someday we'll get to see him.
Gokanaru. Gotta be a man of your word, dog. What
Wait,
happened?
I thought I read on Kiwi Farms that he started eating the shoe.
That's thanks. I hope he
Dude,
did.
he took like nibbles out of it.
Frankly, he deserves to at least eat the soul.
Like a croc or something. He has to. I mean, that's he's made this contract. It's a contractual obligation with his audience.
True.
Exactly.
You would expect him to follow through.
True.
But
And that's why yesterday I said, oh yeah, the cock meat sandwich. Open wide. Because that's exactly what Glitch Poachers did. That's the same shit. There are ways to do these things, and that is definitely the way it should have been done to him. And boy, am I glad I got to see it. And you got to see it too. We were all there.
ultimately, it drops. I was like in the middle of editing a video, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna edit the video and be done with it. Normally, nothing will get me out of my zone. But then, like 5 minutes passed, and I was like, okay, I'm just not gonna be able to get anything done until I watch this fucking video. So I watch it and instantly regretted watching all of it.
Yeah,
basically.
that's the same shit.
It was not good. It wasn't good, and it wasn't really content cop. I think it's a disservice to the name of those older videos. It's really not anything.
It's
like
everything Hassan's audience is saying about Ethan's content nuke. It's all there in the content cop. It's just out of context clips smashed together with some guy giving some like bastardized tale of what he thinks is happening.
It felt like a Nick is not green video.
It did. It absolutely did. You're 100% right. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I don't know what that is, but yes, I agree.
So Nick is not green is this guy that would do like he's not really around anymore, but he would do these like slop commentary videos where he would just like kind of sit and recap a situation very inaccurately with very strong opinions.
Ah, gotcha.
Right, and that's essentially what this was. But what content cop used to be was like a well thought out, well written thing. For this, it was like the only part that was, I guess, supposed to be content cop was he put on the suit, and then I guess like the Muslim chant or whatever, the Ethan wake up, and then that was it. That was it. There was nothing content cop about it.
Do you think it was an Idubbbz complains and then he like branded it at the last second? Like, why else would he not wear the cop suit throughout the video?
I don't know. I mean, in the beginning of it, there was a shot of him taking it off.
It looks, it's, dude, if you go back and look at his previous video, it's the exact same format. So I'm just like, why? Why wouldn't you just do the whole thing in character, have a couple of skits in there? The video's not funny, it's angry.
It is very angry, yes.
I'm telling you, when we hopped in and we started watching it in the opening, and then we saw Hassan and all these people, and then he just sat down and just started talking. And about 5 minutes, 10 minutes in, I was like, do we just get bamboozled? What the fuck am I watching right now, bro? What is this,
Yeah, I got
dude?
content stealth, dude.
When Frogan came up, I could not believe my fucking eyes.
Not me neither, dog.
I could not believe my eyes.
She looks like Jeff the Killer in that.
She does, yeah. She looks like fucking, what's his name? Crunkle, the potato from the Minecraft movie. Only real ones in the audience will know what that means, but she looked like that potato, the spud.
And dude, and Sean the Black was there.
Yeah, he was there. That was crazy.
Why is Sean the Black in the video? He has no relevance. Vega, do you even know who Sean the Black is?
I've never heard of it. I wasn't gonna say anything.
Well, his name's just Sean, by the way. I've added in that. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I missed some black guy. He was cool.
Dude, we gotta have Sean the Black debate some black guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
You know he still posts?
No.
He still posts.
Oh, is
He's
this
not going.
is this one of those moments where I say, yeah, he's cool, and you guys hate him? Is this another one of those?
I don't
moments?
hate him. I mean,
gonna say.
I don't know. He's not doing so hot.
We all go through hard times, Nick.
We all
okay?
go through hard times.
He still makes like this. All right, this is totally off topic. He still makes like the same videos he made like fucking 5 years ago.
In this economy?
Minor setback for a major comeback, my friend. Okay, that's what we call that.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about this during the content cop, where the guy is desperately trying to be the guy he was 5 years ago. Ironically.
Oh man.
Minor setback.
Of course. Get him, Derek.
Derek? Never mind.
Did you just dox Tom and call him Derek?
Wait,
That's his name.
Oh wait, his name is. I was thinking of a different Derek.
No.
Oh.
A different black guy.
Oh my
Never mind.
God, dude.
Okay.
Oh, Tom,
So, okay.
why?
Okay, look, you said it.
Why
not
are
me.
you like this, bro? Come on,
You
man.
said it. All right. What I was really surprised by was I feel like the video, more than being a content cop, was kind of like a further declaration of like what side of the internet Ian is on. And I feel like it was him like saying like, these are my friends now, Ethan, and it's like him and all those people at Hassan's house.
Yeah,
right?
I got that vibe,
Like,
yeah.
What a strange cast of characters. But I feel like it was him kind of drawing a line in the sand. Like, I'm not one of the edgy guys anymore. Friendship ended with Ethan. Now Frogan is my friend. As hard to believe as that is.
Little callback.
But dude, how do you present all those clips of Ethan being like angry and quote unquote crashing out, and then not directly head on address the CPS allegation? Look, for a viewer, you could say, oh, he's malicious, oh, he's that. But Tom, you and I have made video essays. That has to be something that's on your mind while you're writing that script.
That it's gonna come up,
right?
Yeah.
How do you mentally make the decision to omit that detail and to omit bad empanada when like there are clips referencing him in the video and it's something that people are obviously going to say about your video?
I mean, the thing is, is you have to either include it and bite the bullet and say it's bad, but I'm still their friend, or you have to include it and be like, fuck this is bad. You can't really leave it out of the story because obviously it's integral.
Yeah, it's the context to the clips you're showing.
It reminds me of like when Ludwig did that video about the Twitch apocalypse and like didn't say Hassan's name. Remember that? It's like the same thing. It's like such an important part of the story that somehow was not included. It does not fucking make sense. But I don't think that Ian even cares almost.
Dude, even while we were watching that shit, I don't know everything. I'm not really following everything. Even the artist, right? She's aware. She watches some of the stuff, but she's not deep into it.
Yeah.
Right. As we're watching it and he's bringing up these points, like in the middle of it, surely he's gonna bring it up.
Yeah, I was doing that live. I'm like, okay, he's gonna say this now, right? Yeah, never comes up.
Never came up.
And it's not like he didn't have room. It's an hour long.
Yeah, there's a whole section on him hitting a button, dude.
Yeah, but in fairness,
you could put in the context of the CPS.
Yeah, but in fairness to Idubbbz, he did bring up, oh, this guy said, or was it Hassan said this 9/11 thing or whatever. Oh, you didn't know it was a joke. That's what it was, right? You know who you're siding with, and now you're mad that they bit you in the ass and all this stuff, which is a weird thing to say in a video that you got them on. I was starting to get a little confused. I was like, what?
No, yeah. So what he's saying is you kind of should have known who Hassan was when you got into this, which is hilarious because in 2 to 3 years when they turn on him, Idubbbz will be told the same thing by the next of kin.
Yeah, because you bring.
Dude, it's just super upsetting watching the way that Ethan's been treated. I went back to an old tweet and I saw him being pretty reasonable in a clip that I'd posted 2 years ago, which is when this whole controversy started, funny enough. And it's just like since then, they've called his wife a terrorist. People that Hassan are promoting are doing video game simulations murdering his wife.
Damn.
Okay? CPS has been called to their house. They nearly interviewed his children in school. I believe the interview was held at his house.
Nah, dude.
And now most recently, 2 human skulls were mailed to their venue and they were opened up by the crew.
Okay, so this was the thing that I heard. Are they real?
So my understanding is the tag on the human skull is that these are purchased medical items.
What?
That cost about $2,000. They don't appear to be, and in the pictures I've seen, right? They don't appear to be like somebody was murdered and they threw him in a box and sent it. But I don't think they're silicone fucking copies or resin printed versions either. I think somebody.
Some random guy working at a morgue just fucking hates Ethan.
They said real skulls?
No, I think they spent like $5,000 to send him human skulls. Obviously, they're referencing.
Where they got them tested? They might be fake, right?
Well, they had the tag on it. You can see where the tag came from.
Okay.
Like the site where you could buy them from. People were putting up like the listings where you'd be able to purchase stuff like this. The FBI was involved. But again, like imagine you're AB and Lena opening a package that you think is for Dan in your podcast studio, and you pull out 2 skulls.
No, I mean if I pulled out a fucking cartoon skull, I'd be freaked the fuck out if I got it in my house. I mean, like,
yeah, you don't know if they're real or fake. Some person has the address to your location. And again, remember when H3 Snark was bragging about how they doxed the podcast studio?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Like it's just this is such a we are so far past rational here for criticism, and it all comes down to the fact that Ethan doesn't want to disavow Israel existing.
That was my
correct
biggest problem with the content cop because it was like, Ethan, you're being mean. Ethan, you're mad that people are mean to you, but you're mean too. And it's like, okay, are these on the same level though? Like, is this just like a direct tit for tat?
No, even today, Denims is like, look, what I did fucked up after she saw the skull stuff. Yeah, but you called me a bitch like 9 times. It's like, dude, you put on a fucking video of a guy saying that your kids got giardia because your house is filled with shit and they're licking it off the floor, and you're uncritically reacting to that while your whole chat spamming call CPS, call CPS, call CPS. That is not equal fucking rights, equal fucking fights, my guy. And oh, while I'm here, Tom, when I was watching your interview with Erudite talking about Destiny, I was infuriated when she made a comment that I deemed to be kind of sweeping a little bit, downplaying the severity of the allegations. And I had that same feeling when I was watching the content cop because they bring up giardia. They bring up the thing that the kids supposedly didn't have, but Ethan thought they had it when he did the podcast. And he goes, I'm not going to address the fucking giardia or whatever. And he goes, which is like what? Like they don't like wipe their ass or something, or like eat poo or something.
Well, the question is always in these cases, it's like evil or retarded. So what's your verdict, Nick? Evil?
Ian damn well knew it had nothing to do with wiping their ass. Why would you even open with that? Come on.
That's crazy.
You think there's no way he doesn't know about those things specifically, basically?
If you're omitting the CPS stuff, if, in my opinion, you're downplaying the giardia stuff, there's no way he doesn't know the video is malicious. How? How do you pull from the podcast called They Sent CPS to My House and not know the context of the clip from the stream that's called They Sent CPS to My House?
I think he got in a group chat with Hassan, Denims, and Frogan, and they just sent him clips of Ethan. He was like, wow, these are bad. I'm gonna do a content cop. And they were like, oh my god, it'd be so cool if you did a content cop on Ethan. It would like totally own him and like we can even be nice in it. And I thought the most insulting part about the entire thing was at the end when he got the compilation of like Noah Samson and all those dudes to be like giving their one compliment to Ethan after like shitting on him for an hour and like just absolutely brutalizing him. They're like, I think Noah Samson was like, you rock a buzz cut really good. In fairness, I don't expect Noah to have much nice to say after he's getting sued by him. But
I don't know, dude. When I was watching that section, half of them I didn't really know who they were, but I got the gist. If you're a human and you interact with other humans for years, yada yada, you could tell that all them motherfuckers got the call probably from Ian and were like, yo, I need you to make this, say something nice about Ethan. You could tell none of them wanted to make the shit. All of them just said something, whatever.
Right.
You got nice curly hair, or I'm sure your son's gonna do well in life, or whatever.
Bro, they couldn't make the curly hair, dude. That would be like Jew curls, more anti-Semitism allegations. They're not allowed to say that.
Oh, they can't.
Wow, Ethan, I love your hair and pointy star around your neck.
Yeah, it was a rock solid fuck you. I don't like you. I'm only doing this for the fucking video.
I love your little hat and big bank.
And with the skulls too, if my podcast with Grizz would have gotten that shit, we'd be like, dude, sick. We would have never got the death threat message.
I think that's what Justin Wang said on Twitter. And then one of the accounts, I think he was like, Hassan sweepers. He walked it back. But no, it was just Wang making a joke.
If my girl would have opened that shit, you'd be like, where do you want me to put this? In the bedroom? Like,
put it in my pussy.
Oh yeah, that probably would have been a nice one. All right, anyway, go ahead.
But back to the ending segment really quickly. It just
John, my pussy. Sorry.
It didn't age well. I think Frogan's been on stream crying, saying her career might be over.
Why would her career be over?
What career does she have?
That's my question.
What does she have to lose, dude? I don't understand.
Yeah, true.
And then Sean DeBlack goes, wait a minute. Why is Hassan Piker not at the end of this? I didn't have to say something nice. I could have abstained.
Oh, he wasn't?
I swear to God.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, they didn't put Hassan at the end. He's like, wait, what the fuck? I didn't have to compliment Ethan?
Oh my God.
I was dying, dude.
Wow. Was he lying then with his compliment?
Of course. I just said
he was lying.
Tom.
Developed a more progressive worldview? Come on, dude. Okay, you're telling me that Sean would lie.
Tom, you're joking. You're joking.
I'm not joking. What do you mean? Sean? That's my boy. Guy who said that white people should be killed or whatever. If they killed every white person, slavery would end or something.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said that if you say the N-word, you should be killed.
We would have socialism by now.
Yeah,
Ah.
it was because Destiny said the N-word with an A. And he's like, why has nobody just fucking killed this man?
That was epic.
Yeah. But dude, and then also the psychology in Seattle guy. Can we just briefly talk about this? So you guys remember when Anissa and Ian drove down to Tana Mojo's concert to like say a racial slur to her?
Yes.
Yeah.
So now Ian went to therapy and he's a better man. So instead of doing that, him and Anissa flew down, obviously, to go meet Psychology in Seattle, a therapist who does video apology reviews on YouTube, right? And he went there to ask him to change Ethan's perfect score A apology to a B. Keep in mind, he gave Ian's own apology a B+. So Ian is asking Psychology in Seattle to lower his apology rating down one below his.
Right.
And he includes this all in the video. And that guy says no. He failed. He set out to do like a big crescendo moment of the video, posted his own L, and then played a clip of him crying about his wife getting hate instead. If that doesn't describe why Content Cop didn't need to come back, I don't know how else to put it, bro. I think for years they've been asking this guy, make another Content Cop, make another Content Cop. I think he succeeded. I think they'll get off his back now. I don't think there will be many people asking for another
Well,
one.
you know what? We were straight. I don't think we needed that.
No.
These guys need to stop going to therapy. Never resolve your problems and go to therapy because it just makes you so fucking annoying.
It's a scam. It's a scam.
Don't you hate therapy bros? Dude, you joke, but like, don't you hate therapy bros who are just like, I went to therapy. My life is way better. You should go to therapy. You could be just like me. It's
I'd
like,
rather die with all my issues unresolved. Thank you.
Yes.
Actually.
I would rather go put my life savings on roulette and blow my brains out if I lose than go to the same therapist that Idubbbz and Anissa talk to.
How about
The problem is that, just like with most people's issues with any kind of speech about therapy language, therapy speak, therapy culture, and anything to do with reconciliation and come around with their mindsets is never done from a position of real civility or real growth. It is Instagram growth. It's look at me, I've changed, and because I've changed, you can't say anything bad about me and bad about how I choose to see things, because I see things from a healthier perspective. It's cope. And it's cope because they use the language to justify why they can then suspend civility to attack you. Ah, I've changed, and that's why I'm allowed to call this guy a... I had the whole bit lined up in my head, and then I just started laughing. Anyways, it's why I can now call him a slur, because I am a healthy, changed individual. I've changed for the better. So when I say that this slur deserves no rights, you know that it comes from a place of true understanding. That's the level of what therapy speech and therapy language has become and has done to people's mindsets. And it's the soyest shit in existence. Because it's not done for health. And it's not done for importance. And it's not done for consideration and care. It's done because it helps me have a way to tell you that you deserve to be embarrassed. And also, it helps me to tell you why you can't talk back to me when I say you need to do healthy change. One of the biggest problems that people have with it. My nose hurts. The biggest thing that people have as a problem with it is that you want to use someone's proper response as a human to further dehumanize them and demonstrate why they deserve to have things done to them. Multiple examples have been done. I haven't mentioned it because I'm busy. I'm working right now, horror. Multiple times, personally myself, in my career, as well as in my social hangouts with other people in other places on the internet. Whether it be in somebody's audience or it be amongst someone's group of socialization. Someone has tried to use any outburst that a person could have, not just only to me, but also people who know me, as a way to justify why they're allowed to be the biggest bully. Whether it be inciting that they're a leader in a community, and therefore they know how to treat people, and they know when somebody is disingenuous, despite the fact the person in question is choosing to say what they're saying for disingenuous purposes. Claiming that the reaction that you give them is proof positive of why you don't deserve to have an opinion, Therefore, that's the reason why you're being handled or talked to in a certain way, despite the fact that that is clearly fucking lies and cope. Or just flat out, well, no, we wouldn't normally do this, but we hate you and we don't like you and we don't think that you deserve to have things, so we're doing it anyways, as a justification to stop someone from being seen or heard. And all of this comes from the therapy language being abused. Because you don't react in the way that's supposed to be seen as titularly healthy, therefore that's acceptable to silence your opinion and to treat you like you are an insane person. You're behaving in a way that isn't proper, and we don't think that it's acceptable and right. Therefore, we think that you're being performative. You're not reacting in a way that we think is acceptable. Therefore, we think that you're being hypocritical, and we're going to treat you how we want to because we think it's justified and right. We don't think that because you act this way, that means you are a serious person who should be given consideration. Therefore, we have decided that we're going to remove you from this place. Or they make an accusation of you. And, well, you see, if you had nothing to hide, you would have reacted like this. But the reason why you acted like this is proof that shows me that you don't deserve to be here. That's the reason why. This attitude and this desire to treat people like, because they didn't think perfectly how they needed to respond in every situation, no matter how they could have been accused of something, because they didn't act to the behavior of 100% being performative at all times. Therefore, they deserve to be excluded from society. This therapy abuse, it is something that started with women on social media and has now flooded out to literally any and everyone that could abuse it, just because it is a useful and convenient method to shut someone up immediately. It is probably the most cancerous and some of the most annoying shit that you could ever have said or done to you. And it is the most cancerous reaction that could be made up just so that a person can get over having to deal with something, because you don't have to explain it. You don't have to actually show any example of why it's important. You can just say, oh, I feel this way because I feel this way. When we feel this way because we feel this way because we feel this way. It's self-deterministic, and it's the worst kind of self-thought terminating cliche, because it is a joke. Therapy language is a joke in and of itself on how people use it, because they just use it to justify being the biggest bullies, not actually to make sure that a person is seen or heard. At the very base, if they do choose to care about how a person thinks and feels, the consideration stops the moment they decide that your problems aren't deserving of attention, and they're not deserving of concern. I've had it done to me over content. I've had it done to me over friendships. I've had it done to me over inclusion in content, because I chose to have an opinion that was not the opinion that would be most popular and successful to be used. It's been done to me for simply pushing back against people who decided that they would have that viewpoint. And that's just as a content creator. Imagine being a person in an audience that's having that done to you because, oh, you like that person's content and you agree with their opinion. Well, I guess you can't be around here. And shit like this. It is the most chicken shit high school, middle school level involvement that you could ever deal with on the internet. It's very gay. It's extremely gay. And people don't sign up for it. Anyways, talked enough. Continuing.
about this, guys. Instead of therapy, buy a pinball machine. Okay.
Buy a pinball machine, put it all on black, or get a different therapist that they don't use.
We know Tom's not putting on black, but dude, when I saw
genius.
that section,
only on white.
When I saw that section,
you're saying I put it on white.
Tom walks up to the table and goes, "Why are all the choices colored?"
When I saw that section, I'm gonna continue. When I saw that section, and he was like clowning Ethan for his.
No, he was like a content cope. He was just seething the entire video.
And he was saying, "Oh, he brought up all these clips, which was crazy." But he brought up all the clips of him bragging about his perfect score. Literally every single one of them looked like Ace 3 was just clowning. It was a joke. It's one of those things that you bring up, but it's just a joke. It's nothing serious. He didn't take it serious, and he dedicated a whole section to it. Maybe I missed the content cop joke, but it didn't feel like it was a joke, right?
I'm so interested in your perspective on this because you're not up to date on all this stuff. Did you ever find a clip in that video where he'll say something and he'll play a clip of Ethan, and then he just moves on to the next subject, and you're not really understanding what the point is because Ethan didn't really look irrational in the clip that he played?
Yeah, I'll just flip it. And to be fair, again, he did bring up some pretty adult points in the video, right? Idubbbz did, right? Where an adult man would say something that is reasonable. But then it was all like underscored with the opening of the video and then the end of the video, and throughout the video is just a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
So anything that was rational was kind of fucking null and void half the damn time anyway.
It's like, I'm thinking, where is the contradictory clip that should play after this that proves why we're here?
That happens. Okay, that happened so many times to me where I just didn't even understand. It wasn't that he looked irrational. It was that the clip felt like it was in the wrong place or shouldn't have been there, or there were like a different clip there. Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because when I was in the call, and she would be proof, but while we were in the call, I did pause a couple of times and be like, "Am I missing? What was that for? I don't get it." And she was like, "I don't know. I don't even know where that went." You know?
He's like, Ethan falls for propaganda, and then it's a clip of Ethan saying like, "Dude, from the river to the sea, sounds like they're trying to like wipe out Israel." And I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
That's what it was, yeah.
No, I agree with that. Dude, I'm sorry. If the OK hand symbol is neo-Nazi white supremacy, I think from the river to the sea might be something that Jews don't really like over there. I don't know, dude. You gotta have to like take the good with the bad on that, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, now we would know it would also be written.
It happened several times.
If it's on Sam, is it also partially written by Hassan Piker and Denims?
That would have been a crazy content cop if you did it on Sam.
I honestly wish it had been on Sam. It just would have been more entertaining.
Because you know there would have been a comeback.
Yeah, there would have been like an actual response.
Because that would be even funnier. Like, what if we take that part of it and then assign that to future content cops? Like, imagine if his writing team is always Hassan, Frogan, and Denims.
Probably. I kind of feel bad for Ian at this point because all of his friends are now just them.
No, how can you, dude? He's in the middle of backstabbing his friends, and you're like, I kind of feel bad for him.
No, he deserves it.
It's like he chose these people over his friends.
Okay, obviously I'm not saying that I feel bad as in like fucking he didn't get himself into this position. I'm just imagining waking up and being like, who do I have a text from? It's Frogan. It used to be Ethan Klein. It used to be Anything Reviews. Now it's Frogan.
I would have thrown that shit in the toilet, bro. Got a new phone.
Yeah, I would join the Marines.
Wait, Vega, you know Creator Clash is in 2 months, right?
Oh yeah, you swinging through?
No.
Fucker.
It's actually the week after VidCon.
Oh yeah.
That's another ad. There's a whole lot of issues here.
Yeah.
Okay, so Creator Clash is the week after VidCon, so all the YouTubers will be in California. I don't know many YouTubers who want to take a 2-week vacation if they post daily content, but whatever.
True.
Great. Do it the way you're doing it. Fine. Now it's been announced that Jake Paul will be fighting in California.
The same time. Yeah, the
same
time.
night.
Oh shit.
And they're running against the UFC.
Is it the same weekend?
It's the same day.
Okay, conspiracy time.
So Creator Clash, Jake Paul, and the UFC all at once. I know what you're gonna say. Jake Paul was trying to take over Creator Clash, right?
Yes, you remember that. You remember that.
I think you said it on this podcast, didn't you?
Dude, he's playing the long game.
I think, well, Big Bungie had it in the video. Rest in peace, by the way. Big Bungie had it in his video that Jake Paul was trying to take over Creator Clash because Idubbbz was talking about it like it was some anime villain or Greg Paul or something. And now Jake Paul is doing it the same weekend, and he just announced it. Keep in mind, he just announced it. I think Jake Paul, he's keeping an eye on this. Okay, he's a secret Ian hater.
He made a content cop on him, did he? Or no? He made something.
No, he did it on Rice Gum. It was fake.
No, he did Content Cop Asian Jake Paul. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So then he did Content Cop Jewish Jake Paul just now.
I think that Idubbbz is going to be, or sorry, I think that Jake Paul is going to be coming on the pod soon. I got an email from his team, so we're all going to go on Impulsive with Logan.
Oh yeah, me fucking you. Yeah.
And we're putting it all on white.
Jesus, Tom.
These are the current seats that are available in the Tampa Bay Lightning Stadium for Creator Clash. 2 months away.
Oh shit! Wait, really?
This is what you can buy right now.
Oh
no!
It's most of the stadium. So this is a disaster. But there is some Creator Clash 3 news, right? It goes back to the title of this episode. So did you know that one of Ethan's employees is fighting on this card?
No. Is it AB?
No, it's his wife, Lena.
Oh shit!
So Lena works with Idubbbz and Anissa. Anissa and Idubbbz have been relegated to working with the fighters directly because they've outsourced a lot of their production to make sure they don't lose charity money this time by paying for expensive galas and comedians, right? So their whole thing is to work side by side with fighters, make sure they're okay, according to Harley, that is. So if you want to take Harley's word for it, right? So while this podcast is live, while H3H3 is live, Idubbbz drops the content cop during the stream. It was like a moment, right? Ethan's live. Dan goes, "Hey, buddy, did you hear about the content cop? It's on you." And he has this like, "Wait, what? My friend, what? No, what?" moment on stream. But
he did it. He was live.
Yeah, he was live. There's a whole hour of him like freaking out, and I think he handled it well. He just started watching the video eventually, and then put it off and did it the next day.
Damn.
You know who else was in the room?
Oh, so he didn't watch it. He didn't watch it live.
He watched part of it live, and then he's like, "We're gonna do this on the next night," because he was getting too emotional about it.
Good call.
But do you know who else was in the room?
Who?
Lena. She didn't know.
Oh, he didn't call her and let her know that he's damn.
He didn't tell. No, but he did. He did. He then sends her a hasty DM message apologizing for her getting caught in the crossfire and apologizing to AB while the stream is still live. So the video drops while they're live. Lena goes into the bathroom and has a fucking panic attack because now the person who's hosting her fight is fighting with her boss and she had no idea what was happening. AB leaves to go console his wife, and then eventually Idubbbz texts like, "Hey dude, sorry bro, I didn't mean to drop it while they were live. We had a production issue. I apologize for you guys getting caught up in the crossfire."
That's crazy fucking work. Billing that could only have been done by Paul Levesque! No. And now we get to talk about content. Content is something you don't just do, it's something that you plan. usually to get the highest effect and get the best reaction you possibly can out of all the people that are who are provided in a situation that you can be involved in. The dumbest thing is decide to have a never-ending, nearly semi-frequent tirade and fight with people. Pretend that their involvement isn't based on what would get the best effect that you could possibly use to pull them out where they're involved. And then fuck up in a way like that. And say, yup, there's nothing wrong here. Everybody understands where I'm coming from. Like, that's not the biggest fucking work you could have possibly done. That's not good. That's really bad. So, one definite thing that puts all that shit in perspective, right off the back of Frogan, is, aw man, my friends, I can't believe that happened to my friends. I want my friends back. I don't know. Does your new boss of clout and clout sharking think that you deserve to have friends? Because it doesn't seem he thinks you deserve to have friends. He decided to drop the bomb on them in such a way where all of you are caught in the crossfire. That seems to be the case of what happened here. That's crazy. Can't believe that happened to you. That's fucked up. But that's kind of that's where you made your bed. Kind of can't deal with that now, because that's the angle you got to deal with. Damn, that's fucked up. Tom makes some solid docs so Vega usually involved in anything. Prison mate isn't like in this call. Prison mate Luke is a genuine dickhead who was thrown off the internet. It's fucked up. It's really fucked up. It's really fucked up. It's fucked up. Because you can't say that Ian doesn't know better. Joma does know better. But he's not a good planner, apparently. And the fact that you put all that together in that way for the maximum effect, it seems to me that all of the Twitch Hugbox rooms are doing more of the heavy lifting than Hassan is, or Idubbbz can. And it all incidentally happens to be working out the way that it is, like it's a snarker's wet dream. Someone's gonna get in a fight. And I don't mean in an arena. They're gonna get in a fight. Someone's gonna get in a fight over this. I'd fight someone over this. Maximum damage and maximum optics with maximum consequences and maximum antagonization, where you can never say it's a mistake. Just maximizing as much damage as possible. What the fuck do you do in this situation? How don't you crash out in this situation?
And there's a segment on that video, if you remember, where he's talking about Ethan mistreating the employees.
I was about to say,
what a joke.
Didn't Idubbbz put in the video that why did you put your employees in this position, and now he's doing the same thing?
Yeah, what a fucking joke, dude.
That's crazy.
Dude, and the thing is, why is Lena in this fight right now? I don't mean to diss her or pull a clout play here. Lena's in this podcast because she's Lena from H3. Right. That's why she's there. It's to pull H3's audience. Apparently, there was a donation where Ethan was one of the top donors to Creator Clash 3 prior to this as well. So that's a whole different issue, a whole different ballpark thing. So they're banking off Ethan's audience for this fight. Why the fuck did he make this video, dude, 2 months before his fight that's currently floundering on Ticketmaster? Why not just wait till the fight is over and not rope Lena in? Because keep in mind, Ethan has announced a follow-up content nuke video after VidCon. He's posting part 2 on Hassan in June. So it's still topical. This video could literally come out in June and it would still be topical and relevant. Why would he risk his fight? Why would he involve Ethan's employees? None of this makes sense to me, dude.
I would guess the event will probably be the last Creator Clash, but I thought that about the last one when they lost all the money.
But dude, it should be the last. There shouldn't have been a Creator Clash 3. Why are people supporting a guy who fucked up charity?
I'm not going. I'm not going.
Dude, I got offered free tickets. I'm not going. I literally got offered a comped ticket, and I'm not going.
Oh, I'm definitely going. What? I want to see what happens. What do you mean?
You're going to see what happens in an empty stadium.
I want to see Tubbo fight Sapnap.
You know Tubbo and Sapnap? I don't think they've tweeted about it since the fucking thing was announced.
Pokemon's boyfriend's fighting?
Oh, yeah, dude, Shelbo's fighting.
That's sick, dude.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
If there's no promotion for this event, the only time this event gets promoted is when Idubbbz does something crazy.
I might go to see Tubbo.
We got to see Tubbo.
I feel bad for Harley. Harley's still the headliner. How is Harley headlining anything? No offense.
Pokemon's going to be the ring girl. I'm excited, personally.
Nah.
Oh, did you see Jake Paul? Jake Paul's event is sponsored by Fansly.
Oh, no way.
That was their biggest sponsor last time.
Oh, shit.
You think Jake Paul
Paul. Okay, Jake Paul is trying to destroy.
Dude, he's playing the long game, bro. He
So
played
they
the
didn't
long
just
game.
lose the night; they lost the sponsor.
And he's about to win.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, I think it would be better in Jake's name. For all the bad that comes with Jake Paul, maybe the money actually might make it to charity. When I donated fucking what, like $20 ticket prices or something to 2 different charities, I should not have been put in a position where I donated more to charity than Creator Clash 2.
Oh man.
What I'm curious about is where is the money coming from for this latest event? Because I assume they don't have that many donations.
They partnered with a company.
Which company?
Yeah, it has to be a partnership.
I don't know which company specifically. They partnered with a company, and they've been, I think, direct. I think the company is paying the fighters, not the charity money this time, from what I was told.
Okay.
But
what about
I
like
don't know.
the arena costs and all that? Is that the company?
That all has to come out. No, I can't imagine the company's paying for that.
Is Ian like fronting that? That's a lot of. I'm starting to worry about this. The state of his finances. Okay, I'm worried for him.
You know what? This looks terrible. It looks like it's going to be a disaster. And call it here. That's why the event's probably going to work. Because it looks like it's going to bomb. YouTubers are going to make videos for the next 2 months saying it's going to bomb. And they're going to just scrape by breaking even, and that'll be that. I guarantee you. Because it looks so bad this time, this will be the one that's successful. Watch.
Okay. Well, you guys heard it here first. We'll come back to this in 2 months. What happens if you're wrong?
And look, if I'm wrong, you know what happens if I'm wrong? It's red panty night once again, and I make a killing.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to be wrong because I'll make a whole lot of money if I am.
I think if you're wrong, there should be some kind of actual punishment instead of you just reaping stream donuts for your supposed goals. There has to be something else.
Nope. Unfortunately, we're gonna be hitting the goal, and then once you hit the goal again, you earn another goal. Okay.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's it. Oh, what a business model, bro. All right, well, I don't know. That's about it for fucking Content Cop. That fucking shit show. What else happened?
I want to take the opportunity to just blast I'm Alex now once again.
Of course.
Hold on.
of
Wait.
course.
1 second. 1 second.
As expected.
Sophie, shut the fuck up. Okay, I yelled at my dog. We're good.
Your dog's name is Sophie. As a person name.
Yes, it's a people name.
It's weird.
Sophie, Coco, and Suki.
Amber.
White people things. Am I right?
Amber, Ashley, what are you guys doing over there in the track?
Yeah, exactly. Vegan knows what's up. That's a white people.
All right, I'm gonna take every opportunity to take a dig at I'm Alex. Have you seen that he's back to streaming?
Oh, he's back.
I actually have. I've seen. Well, okay, what is this audio clip of him saying Nicholas the goat?
Oh,
What
that
is
was okay. So I jumped in there and I had to go on my third account because I was banned on all my other ones preemptively, and or maybe I said something that was filtered. I don't know. So I fired off a dono to him saying, "Why did you lie in your response video to Alice when she literally had audio of you saying that you kicked her?" Right? And then he looked at it, smiled. He's like, "Nicholas the goat. Thank you for the $5, my man." So like,
No
by
way.
the way, that has made me so many $5 donations because that's the sound now that plays at 5.
Do you think he's going on the red pill arc now, or he's like fuck women?
That's probably the only way he could be successful.
There's no way.
I don't know how you come back from this. He made a video and just straight up lying about his girlfriend a full calendar year later. So then she does the shit that like anybody else would do. Just dumps everything. Fuck it. Okay, you want to lie? That's cool. Here's all of our text messages. If anyone's interested in all the context, you can read it.
I saw that Connor did like a 5-day long stream or something.
Yeah. Oh, I murdered him. Do you know what I did to him? It was so evil.
What do you do?
Okay. So, and I forfeited like $1,000 in donations probably by doing this. I was sitting there on stream and someone messaged me that Connor's subathon was almost over. If you don't know what's happening, Connor was doing a subathon where he had to read the whole 750 pages in one night. It took me 24 hours. Yeah, it took me about 24 hours across 4 nights to read this thing,
Whoa.
right? From doing like reasonably. So he was going to do all 750 pages, all voice notes, everything, all in one night. And then he also put like a wheel spin where if you donate, you could spin the wheel and he'll either have to eat like a ghost pepper or he has to smash an egg over his head or he'd have to go back pages, right? So after 4 days, this guy's made like $5,000, right? Or like $4,000 at this point, with 80 viewers in his stream, with people coming to fuck with him. Because I remember the first night, he's like, "Nick, are you streaming tonight? I would love to not have any competition." I'm like, "Oh no, you're good." This guy streamed through me and then through me again because he was live for so many days, right? I hear he's almost done, and I go, "Hey, go on the Internet Versus channel right now because Connor is supposedly like pages away from being able to get offline, and just send him money, okay? I don't know. I do not want his stream to end."
Well, how bad did it get?
Dude, there's this one guy who oils Ethan Klein who will show up every so often and dump a bunch of money. I think he's done it to me like twice. He hadn't donated that stream, but the minute I said that, he gifted 200 subs to Connor.
Oh no.
Nick, why are you like this? Why'd you do that
He
today?
gifted $1,000 to Connor.
Oh, never mind. Good job.
And Connor got set back like negative 750 pages.
Who is this
He had to read
fucking?
the whole
Who's this fucking
document.
like software engineer spending his entire
I
day
have
watching
no
XA
idea.
on YouTube?
But dude, he was live for, I shit you not, like another 36 hours.
Oh my god. I saw he was sleeping on stream. Yeah. I see that.
Dude, I called Augie and Augie was in tears. Augie was in fucking tears. Because after that guy did that, I rated into him, thinking that that's what I needed. And he's just sitting there, he's like, "Thanks, dude. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative."
Wait, did he read it all out loud?
What do you mean? Oh, the document? Yeah, he had to keep reading the document. So he set himself back pages.
Oh, so his voice is probably fucked.
Oh, when you donate, he goes back?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
dude.
He had negative pages, so he'd have to go back again after he completed it too, to go fill the negative pages. This was a torture stream.
Wow.
That's why I chose to finish the way that I chose to finish my section on it. I intended on reading at least 300 and so odd pages, but it was very clear that the context as well as the behavior was clearly Alex lied. But my angle was Alice is in need of pushback, and what was there needed to be said and clearly shown. Because I had listened to the voice notes beforehand, which is why I exited the stream out on playing the voice notes. But it's very clear that if you really wanted to read through this document, you should. There was no way I was going to make it through whole 750 pages dealing with the same shit. We had maybe a person who was in the audience there that decided to come in the middle of the fucking stream and decide to tell me for the crime of going through it and just accepting it and having my own opinions that I was, direct quote, This has been covered many times before, and I doubt you have anything to add when it comes to having a girlfriend, lol. Everybody knows this dude is despicable. You're such a creature. When on November 10th, 2024, this person had chatted on my stream one other time. I can't believe Donnie T won. How are you tonight, Carl? Based on the election. So, to me, it was very clear that the viewpoint people had about I'm Alex alone was they want to attack him and they want to criticize him, but they're not willing to say that Alice is fucking crazy for the shit that she did. And that's all that mattered to them. People who were going to have their opinion were going to have their opinion. There was something that I had to desperately do that day that came up last minute, as it almost always fucking does. And I needed to go. So I left the document for people to read. If they wanted to read it on their own time, they could. I think what he just did to his friend is probably horrible. Because it's what I did to myself going through the Dark Viper AU content. How long was I live for that? 16 hours? 16 hours of 14 pages? I could not give myself a requirement where I have to go back in time on the material. Can't do it. I would become homicidal. I'm not about to be rewound for money. I will do other things to torture myself. Like order another fucking set of Reaper wings from Dave's Hot Chicken. I am not about to let somebody fucking do that torture to me and fuck with that shit because I don't have the time to spend. Can't. However, in apparently Horror's opinion, I honestly want to see Carl crumble over more ACC drama because it's so wild. Half the reason why I made my one fucking 3-hour video of the ACC drama that I did cover back in the day, before you became involved with us picking through the content, is that, wow, this is really autistic and really dumb. I can't believe that these are grown-ass adults on the internet. Well, that's their problem, not mine. And it hasn't improved since. It's been the wildest shit since. It's almost always the wildest shit that could be solved by, where are your parents? Why are you guys engaging in this? How are you always getting involved? But that's me. Back on this. I think she's less crazy after looking at the full thing. I see a lot less wrong on her end. I agree. Having read through the full document with extra time to go through the notes, having gone through maybe half of the voice notes, and then the rest of the notes after the stream, she was more than justified in how she chose to address it. It's just simply the consequences of not being a content creator. She doesn't have time to put it through a video. She doesn't want to put it through a video. She doesn't want to put everything in a context that can be easily understood and read so that it spends the least amount of time with the most amount of context to remove the most amount of fat and be the most accurate, so that if you want to have a database to go to who is the most explicit and exact person to go to, here you have 4 hours of context, it's everything, versus 16 hours of stream donos, clips, repeats, rewatches, so on and so on and so on and so on. That nature, if a person goes in and they just don't want to have to do the work to find out what's most important there, there's nothing any of us could help that person with. They just probably shouldn't be there watching it because they're there for separate reasons and separate things that probably are outside the perspective of what's most important. But there's various ways that it could have been gone about. But moving forward, I can't imagine being a friend of Nicholas Turorio and he just drops into the stream and it's like, hey bro, here's $1,500. I'm about to send you back in fucking time and I'm about to torture you for the rest of your time. You wanted to have a break, you wanted to sleep, you wanted to eat? Nah, bro, I'm locking you in. I can't, man. I can't.
And I'd never seen. Fucking hats off to him, because he made more money than like the average commentary YouTuber makes in fucking 5 days.
Oh, for sure.
I think he walked away with like $5,000 and he averaged 80 viewers.
That's a very nice cent per person ratio.
Oh, fuck
He literally got 2 months of Bo Black's rent. Yeah, two Bo Black's mortgage payments in a weekend.
You just ain't gonna let it go. You ain't gonna let it go.
Oh god, after the Comic Cop bullshit, no, bro.
Oh, yeah.
No, bro.
Fair enough.
No
fair
chance,
enough.
dude. I am gonna take every dig I can at that guy. Everything's fair game.
What if Connor is Comic Cop? I could believe that.
Dude,
I could believe
you
that.
can't, because he's from 2017. He was an active member of Tommy's community.
Connor was alive in 2017.
He was alive, but you remember Augie in 2017? He was like, there's like one clip of him from back then where Tommy like follows him on Twitch, and he's like, oh my god, Tommy C! Well, he's like a full fucking squeaker mode. Dude. There's no way. Oh my god, it's Tommy C! That's the thing, is he predates me. You're probably the only one who was around when he first got there. Do you think it's somebody in the NCO?
That Comic Cop?
Yeah.
There was a shit ton of NCO.
Jay Aubrey.
That's who I was thinking it could be, is Jay Aubrey.
It's just Destiny.
No, I don't think him.
Remember that guy?
No, not Maury. It's Maury.
You think Aubrey's Comment Cop? I don't think. He ain't got time for that shit, bro.
No, because Comic Cop agrees with us too much. Well, actually, I feel like Jay Aubrey agrees with a lot of our stuff too, but he's kind of in a different space, so he doesn't really, he doesn't engage or whatever. But it seems like he's like a totally rational person.
Who, Aubrey?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. I've had like a one scuffle with him, but it wasn't, he's still cool.
I just don't like his Twitter.
Yeah, I don't agree with a lot of his views, but I mean, whatever. I don't agree with a lot of people.
It is Deodor Anthony.
No, he wouldn't. Dude, he would never talk to me. He would never speak to
Not
me.
even as a double agent, bro.
Sapaz. Remember Sapaz?
Oh my god, I remember the name.
No.
He was this like guy. He was like a green dick.
Yeah, the banana.
Was he a banana?
He was the banana.
I always thought he was a green dick.
Oh, he was a green dick?
Like celery.
What? Wait a minute. Did we just bypass the whole I'm Alex thing? What happened with that?
No, we talked about it a little brief. It's like they put a 750-page document out. I kind of talked about it during the Connor stuff. She dropped everything, like full conversation logs, showed Alex took her directly out of context. There's a 30-minute voice recording where he admits to kicking her and apologizes for it.
Did he? So
Right, like,
did he clear his name or not? The 750 pages. Fuck
No,
him.
he didn't clear his
Okay,
name of
got
shit,
it.
dude. He threatened to bash her skull in with a brick. Okay, his angle was she was also abusive. But if you go back and look, because he's like, I never dragged her, I never did this, I never did that. If you look at the allegations she brings to the table, there are text messages that reference these events going back months, years now.
In the video, did he even include the clip where he's like, I'll bash your head in with a fucking brick? Was it even in there?
No, he never even plays it.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
But he accuses Alice of beating him through the duration of their relationship, and not once in the messages is that reflecting anywhere. He never meant like, oh, this is where she hit me. Never mentions it that way. And then in the times where he does mention hits and stuff, it's her denying it, and her story has not changed. This is just devious behavior. I think that I personally find it hard to believe that he's not guilty of this. Again, Kavos has covered this, right?
Yeah.
On his YouTube channel. We know how the defamation standard is in Europe, right? If Alex really thought he had a leg to stand on, wouldn't he try to take a swing at Kavos for covering false allegations against him? I feel like he won't.
Dude, and also this is like the second time I've heard a dude just come out and be like, this girl, she abused me physically, and dude, maybe just skip it, bro. Look, man, she said all this shit,
I
whatever.
think men can be abused by women. I fundamentally think that can
Of course, yeah, but I'm just saying, bro, it's just so crazy to hear. Just skip it.
I like when he showed his weird rap.
I highly disagree with what he just said. There's always going to be a problem in content creation, in even broadcaster spaces, where we will not truly understand the real connective quality of why it's important to not let shit happen. And for the I'm Alex situation, this is probably one of the cases where the abuse, the pain, the torture, the anxiety, the consequences of the anxiety that was done unto them happened in the way in which it happened. And you can't just say, "Oh man, you just gotta stop. You just have to drop the fact that you were being, fucked with by a woman." I can't. Nah. We've seen far too much happen when we choose not to hold women accountable. And unfortunately, we do not have enough female content creators to hold all the women accountable. It needs to be possible that a man can be able to hold a woman accountable when she does something wrong, and nobody makes fun of him because, you got fucked up by a woman. A woman. You got beaten by a woman. It can't be that way. It can't go that way. Nothing will change if we let things go that way.
Ash.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's sad, though. It's sad when someone accuses you of beating them and you're like,
Yeah.
well, she hit me too,
Right.
as if that's ever a reason to put hands on a woman.
Now, I don't know if you ever dated a Puerto Rican. You'll find some
Well,
reason.
I don't know if you've ever dated an e-girl.
You'll find a reason to put your hands on one, I guess. All right, I'll cut that out.
Keep it in.
But yeah, I mean, it's sad. It's sad that like people were calling her a liar because they believed Alex's video, which ultimately I think has been. I think Kavos' video, making it bite-sized in 20 minutes, showing where Alex lied, has done gangbusters for that narrative now. And Alex is still getting hate to the point where he's privating live streams immediately after ending them. I don't know why he's streaming to Bo Blaxian viewers with like 150 people in chat on his main million sub YouTube channel. Fucking beyond me. me. Tom, he went like, dude, Tom, he got into a controversy and he's like, I better start streaming. I've never seen anyone do this before.
Yeah, that was the craziest thing to me. It's like,
oh, he's a streamer now.
I guess he just saw that. Maybe he just saw that like you were streaming. He was like, well, I guess this is the way to do it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people do that, and then it doesn't work out.
I just checked in on his channel. Okay, this is fucking brutal. His video, 41 minutes ago, has 448 views.
That's diabolical.
Those are Vega numbers, bro. You gotta up your game, dog.
No, you're way better than that. Come on, dude. Plus, he made the nut.
He made the nut.
Is that on I'm Alex or Alex Elmsley?
That's on Alex Elmsley.
That's his main, dude. No way. Like, not main in terms of subscribers, but main in terms of actual growth.
Oh, I was gonna say, did he abandon him, Alex? Okay.
He did kind of. Like, he did like the whole, I'm gonna make a second channel and pander to those people.
And now it's his
and
main.
that's like the money maker. Like, that's the money grinder channel. And then eventually he phased out the main one to the point where he hardly posts on it. But now he doesn't post on fucking anything ever. I guess for a year he didn't post on anything.
What is he gonna do?
Oh, dude, I thought he was banking off the Omnia money. Remember the Omnia Media controversy where they weren't paying their creators? You probably are aware of this.
Yeah.
So he had 3 months of revenue bank that he got all at once, but in Alice's messages, it turns out that so I thought, okay, he's got a couple $100,000 coming, right? Because you'd think Alex was making that money still, because your brain's probably 3-4 years ago. That's where I was. Like, okay, this guy got like $250,000 off a cut check, probably. So that's probably how he survived for a year. He just probably lived like in his means.
Yeah, you would think.
Dude, the messages come out.
Yeah.
He was owed $70,000 and owed like $79,000 in taxes.
Ooh.
He was in the negative. He got the money and it immediately went to the tax man.
Damn, bro. I think, oh, dude, and I'll be real. When that shit was going down, I was like, dude, this girl's batshit crazy too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you should pick any sides because I think it just sounds like the whole thing was fucked.
She has a nose ring. I empathize with her.
Yeah, if you see them piercings on a girl, you just ride, bro. Get out of there, man. Maybe a one night stand. But other than that, I don't know if we're going past that, bro. You gotta lose. It's gotta be a hotel hookup or something, dog.
Alex fell in love with her so much he wanted to bash a brick through her fucking head. And
Sound like foreplay.
Dude, I kept making those memes where it was like, I'm Alex having a domestic dispute with his girlfriend, but you're actually in the bathroom during like a 2011 party. Do you remember those?
Yeah,
Dude,
those
were
are
so
good. Well, I had the green screen. Remember when I was streaming?
Oh
that?
fuck,
I, like,
you actually did that. Yeah. Oh god,
Yeah.
I kept like retweeting all those.
It's kind of crazy. I remember Alex was a full timer when I was starting on YouTube. Like right when I was like starting to post videos, he'd like just gone full time. I remember watching that.
That's when you were a squeaker.
Yeah, that's when I just started out my whole thing, and now he's fucking done. That's nuts.
Gobble gobble, turkey Tom.
Oh, okay, dude. All right. That's funny. Shout out to the king, by the way.
Dude, that's my all.
The king of bunt.
Oh,
I'm Bunty King.
Don't get fucking Nick started.
Wait, I am Bunty King, dude.
Don't get Nick started, bro.
You're real Bunty King. He's fake Bunty King. What was the thing you said? Hello, my goats.
Oh, my sweet goats.
Yeah, my sweet goats. That was a good one. I like that one.
I can't do it in his accent anymore because that's no longer allowed.
Does he even have an Indian accent? I feel like
he used to fake the Indian accent. Remember in the beginning of his career? Do you remember that, Vega? He used to do like the fake stereotype Indian accent.
Hello, my sweet goats. What is going on? Nicholas the Audio's live.
See, I told you not to. I don't know why I said it. Now we're starting.
Yeah,
off
and then eventually he just started talking normal. You're like, oh, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, dude, I'm just a normal Canadian guy.
He watched Goodfellas. Instantly had a normal accent. Forgot about being Indian.
All right. He's doing well.
Dude,
from what I
congrats to
hear
him,
from
bro.
Nick.
He honestly, he's the only lolcow who made it out. That's not even a backhanded compliment.
I didn't
he's
say
the
it
only
was.
guy who was crashing out, who had the foresight to be able to leave, become successful, fucking grow up. Or he actually grew up. Dude, he did what Idubbbz couldn't. He grew up. Not in a superficial content
Yeah,
creator.
he's killing it.
No, dude,
Yeah.
from what I've heard or whatever, it sounds like he does.
I don't know personally.
And the best way to tell is the fact that he's not still here, trying to recap the glory days.
That's good. Good on him.
Dude, imagine he comes back and he posts, dude, his new video, I'm a cuck, and apparently that's okay now.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd be insane.
That'd be crazy. That would be crazy.
Holy shit. All right.
Yeah, imagine he comes back like, what? People are still talking about me? Oh, well, fuck you guys. He posts a picture of him and a loving family.
He goes back into like swinging to be like a far right fucking guy. He's like, dude, I'm a cuck, and apparently that's okay now. And he just starts mauling Destiny.
That would be fire. He calls him an inbred.
Yeah, dude. Oh no, not even a right wing thing. That's just his response, like his hypothetical alternative universe response if he was still making content to going and fucking trashing Destiny after the fuck. Because remember, Destiny like had him on with the mouthy Buddha thing.
Yes.
Like his revenge during the Pixie allegations would be Destiny's face in a thumbnail. He's like, oh, hello everybody, it's me, Bunty King, and guess what, dude? I should write for these people. I should ghost write for people, dude. I have such good video ideas for other.
I'm not sure if that'd be able to even fly on YouTube because that'd probably get stricken down at some point. Because then somebody would call it harassment, and then any fun that could come from that just ends up blowing up. It'd be whatever. But, ouch. I don't think I've heard the name Mouthy Buddha in the longest time. I don't even think that person makes content on the internet anymore. And the last time that he was relevant was the exact same time that people cared about the incel problem, before they changed it up to the I'm afraid that these incels are going to bring us pain and they're going to ruin things for women because these guys are having it hard in life and they're not receiving enough. And concern trolling about it to the point where all of those content creators that I've criticized tried to make their incel content, including people like nuke and whatnot. And the only thing that came from that was that they just picked it up and then dropped it. And then the only time people cared about it again was when June chose to bring the issue back up. Then it changed from the incel epidemic to the loneliest epidemic. Because at that time, he was getting blasted for being a cuck, and then he just disappeared, and then he just stopped being relevant because people moved on to other things.
people's channels. Unironically, I would be so fucking happy if he'd come back and make that video.
He goes viral on Reddit.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine he comes back, makes that video, crushes it.
Oh, Destiny, I'm a crypto fascist. Oh no.
Shout out to Bunty King.
Does anyone remember the fucking ape?
Oh my god, is this
Naked ape?
Naked ape. Is that the guy
wait,
who's like...
pause. Vega heard the word naked ape, but assumed Tom was being racist. We heard that.
I didn't say...
Yes, I was trying to not...
No.
It's a real guy.
I was gonna be like, Tom, when are we gonna stop this? And then I realized that this was actually a person. So I'm all right, you go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
I think it was called His Destiny is Autism. Like 10 years ago, this video came out. It was like, fuck. I want to say he was from like the Kumite or something, or that area of the internet. But he just made this video with this like super nasally accent and this like monkey, and he would just use these pictures of monkeys, and he was a legend.
Oh god.
Him and Mouthy Buddha and Bunty King all need to come back to do like, it'll be like how Nick, you know how we did the Ethan video back in the day? It'll be like all three of them coming back to do like a Destiny video on each other's channels, like a 3-part.
That'd be it.
Dude, what if they all came back and made videos on y'all and then just destroyed you guys?
Yeah.
That's not possible, is it?
Dude, honestly though, the thing is, right? Like if Bunty came back, I don't think it would be immediately like, and it's a hypothetical, he's never coming back. But if he did, I don't think it would have to be a negative thing. You don't have to hate.
No,
people
that'll be
forever.
you guys trying to make it a negative thing.
No, but you don't have to hate somebody forever if they give it like a genuine chance.
Yeah.
Like again, we talked about this earlier in the podcast. If Idubbbz came back, capitalized on the clear like hunt for like people wanted content caught back. If he just covered like a regular topic, put like the bare minimum effort in, wore a stupid shirt or whatever, a police uniform or whatever, they'd be happy. They would have been happy. People were excited for this.
I have no idea what Bunty King even did. I know he just made that one video, the cock video. That's it.
He was cringe. He was weird with Ricky. It doesn't really matter at this point. But the point is just
I
like,
don't even remember anything. I just remember the one video where he's like, I'm a cock.
It doesn't matter.
at the end of the day, if you're not a rapist or a pedophile, somebody would be happy to see you come back and do stuff that they like.
And he was none of those things. The cardinal sin he committed was like good enough for that time, right? But at this point, if he did it now, people would just be like, that was kind of stupid, and then fucking move on because there's like 1,000 files out there.
Even if you are a pedophile, there's a pedophile community that'll support you.
Or Destiny will just bring you on streams and have conversations with you for a long while.
You guys think this next creator clash kind of end things off? You think this is gonna be the...
He's never gonna let the fact that he chose the platform, Mr. Girl, grow, and he shouldn't. Nobody should. I don't think any of them necessarily need to come back. YouTube and the greater internet has changed, not necessarily for the better or for the worst, but it's changed in a way where it's really hard to justify, that would be the nurse, to justify their involvement, because you can't make things better, and they won't be better, because people have gone out of their way to fuck the internet for money. But you can't bring back those older content creators from yesteryear to YouTube and try to see if it's possible to make a career for them again. It's not possible. Because those content creators existed at a specific period in time where the culture for them to exist was good. Not because money, but because we had the perspective. We had the space before therapy language and concern trolling got to the point where you had to worry about whether or not things were done in all that way. I care horror. I care significantly. Because Bunty King, as well as some black guy, who he stopped being relevant for a while, some black guy, I don't think Lacey Green even makes content on her channel anymore. She is out long after she broke up with Chris Raygun. Long after she broke up with Chris Raygun, and Chris went on to become a regular figure on Sacred Symbols Plus with Colin Moriarty. It's just been an up and down of older creators just disappearing and not existing. Like, you couldn't bring them back, because to bring them in is kind of like what Horror's going through right now, kind of slowly pulling her hair out. Like, who are these people? Why should I care? Did they do something funny? Did they do something cringe? Most of these people's relevance existed for a specific period of time, for a specific period of content creators, for a specific period of culture that helped shape and change how people viewed a problem, viewed a discussion, viewed a group, viewed a circumstance, viewed events, and the context for how they viewed those events. They couldn't come back to make a career now because their time is already long gone and past. If they tried to reclaim the view that they had of old, people would treat them like lolcow status again. So if Bunty King tried to come back to try and relitigate his opinion about being called a cuck, he would have to do so in a way to make fun of Destiny, right? So to his credit, this is something that Nicholas Dorio is 100% right about. That'd be hilarious content. But it would have to be through the YouTube view of what is acceptable for content now. It couldn't be the way that most of us would imagine it would go. The culture would not allow for this to happen the way some of us think that it should happen. It has to happen in the way that it has to happen, which is it's not going to happen the way people think that they'd be sympathetic for. It wouldn't happen the way that people would be satisfied by. It wouldn't happen in the way where everybody truly understands what the context is. It couldn't happen in a way where people are able to say, yeah, I know the full context because I got that context from so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so. All of the context that goes into what is the concern to be talked about and what is important. So, what's important about Ethan Klein and Ian Joma, and what is important about then H3 Productions and the H3 podcast and its staff, and how Idubbbz as a figure, as well as Idubbbz as a content creator, is responsible for shaping how people are looking into situations and events, and how all of that engagement that they could engage others with in terms of what directly affects the most important stuff that they could discuss, which could be as simple as how their involvement is responsible for how more annoying or aggressive it could end up being in the future, that they get involved with these details and these stories and these events and these people. Any kind of content creator that exists from that time period, if they tried to enter into this time period now to exist amongst all the problems that exist here, people would outright reject it by nature of not knowing, not caring, not wanting to care, and ultimately having nothing to really build off of for why they should care, other than what they are told to care about. And unfortunately, because of the nature of how the internet is now, where depending on whether or not they want to platform you or deplatform you, your particular opinion will be seen as crazy spectacle or not, it can be responsible for, if you're even given the ability to be heard about your particular complaint or a particular problem that you could complain about. Because depending on who's airing out your problem, if Shoeonhead is the one who makes the video, maybe people decide to say, oh, this is serious, I'm going to care about it. Or, if you happen to have a content creator like FD Signifier make it, your opinion is about to get shit on. Permanently. Because civility is not about to be given to you. Because they don't do civility over there. Or hell, using myself as a context, for the people who follow me simply to know about drama that happens on the internet. As my head mod / community member tries to tell people the backstory behind these people, she throws her hands up and says, what does it matter anyways? You're asking why am I even going on about this? For the exact same reasons. Like, the internet has evolved and changed and grown up. Some people have evolved and changed and grown up. And while there's always a place for somebody to come back and make content, like Mouthy Buddha could reappear again with the turban on his head and just start making Fortnite content, the same way that Hunty King could just reappear making Fortnite content, or hell, he could make the weirdest pivot that any YouTuber could, and he could just reappear as a guy that's doing porn. I don't think the content would happen because I don't think the internet is prepared for what we could do with that. And unfortunately, not everybody's mature enough to be able to go off on whatever we could do with that either. So, it's like, it's a fun idea. But it ain't finna fucking happen. It can't. By the nature of how funny it would be, it probably can't. But that's just my opinion, though. That's just my opinion. we're almost finished with this video, and we're actually at time. So let me finish this. I'm gonna get out y'all's hair.
The end of the Idubbbz drama, or are we gonna get more?
We've been kind of in a lock with Ethan Hassan Destiny. Now they've thrown like an Idubbbz in the mix. I feel like there has to be like a resolution soon. I don't know how long we can keep doing
It's
this.
been going on and on.
I mean, I can cover it forever. If people get like triggered, they're like, "Oh, you're milking the situation." It's like I've done 2 streams, 1 on the video, 2 on the response. That's all. Like, what am I supposed to cover? Am I supposed to like look under a rock and try to find the new up and coming? No, it's just like the most interesting story of the year.
Here's the problem. It used to be, okay, in my day, back in my day, my spleen, okay, it was you'd make a video about someone, and then they would respond, and then you would respond, and maybe if you're lucky, they would respond after, and that was it. And then those like 3 or 4 videos would be spread off, like spread throughout like 100 or so smaller channels that would talk about
Yeah,
it.
the thing is, I don't make videos. I post the stream highlight.
No. I know. But what I'm saying is now it's Ethan does an 8-hour reaction to Idubbbz's 1-hour video because the videos are so fucking long.
Yeah,
now.
it took me 7 hours to watch this 5-hour reaction.
And then
2x and I 1.5x speed.
And then Idubbbz is gonna watch your thing for like 17 hours, and then Frogan's gonna watch that for 20 hours and talk about how soldiers should die in the military, and then Hassan's gonna eat lunch for 30 hours and watch it. It's just gonna get bigger and bigger. This like, just goes on forever.
Yeah,
It goes on forever.
I'm endlessly caught in a loop between people saying like, "Nick, you're posting 2-hour clips," and "Nick, you're posting too many clips. Do you want 7-hour clips?" Like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna post the whole piece of content because that's the content.
Yep.
Do you want it over 3 days or all at once? And the reality of the situation is people are like, "Oh, post 10-minute videos."
That's a fucking lie because they say
Why would I
that.
post 100 10-minute videos? They don't want that.
They say
you guys
that,
watch
and nobody wants to watch it.
You're watching the 2-hour video. Why would I stop doing this? Like, "Oh, Nick, I can give you some solid advice." "Oh, what? Do you have my analytics page?" "Oh, how could you better make the channel work?" Because by every conceivable metric, it appears that it's doing quite well.
Yeah.
I like the backseat content creators where they're just like, "Hey, here's how you could really make this better. You should do all the things that don't work for."
Guy who's never made a video. Yeah.
No, but have you ever had that where somebody reaches out to you like, "Tom, here's all the criticisms that you should be doing to make your video better," and it just makes it impossible to market? It's like, "Hey, you know all the things that you do for metadata and shit like that. Just completely stop."
Usually it'll be like, "Can you make a video about Skippy Pippy 12, my personal friend?" One time somebody reached out to me and was like, "My friend's mom is transphobic. Can you make a video about them?"
Oh my god, dude. You get those sometimes. Yeah, you go in your email and they're like, "Hey, dude, can you make a video?" Because that's kids, dude. That's kids who want to be involved or whatever. You just don't answer those people.
Sometimes I swear it'll be adults who are like, "There's a Discord server I found," and they're like sending me an invite, and they're like, "Check this channel. There's illegal material." And they send me this in the email, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, so you're sending me a link to child." Like, what are we doing here?
Do you ever have a? This is a question I'm just gonna throw off to you because I get it every stream, and you can cut it out if you want. Do you ever plan on coming back to streaming? Do you? I'm not gonna ask you like where you're going or what you're doing right now, but do you think the streaming stuff is done forever, or are you just taking a break?
That's a great answer because we get comments on it. We do.
I would say that's a really great. What? Fuck, I can't fucking speak English.
Wait, okay, smack it. Thanks, asshole.
I would say that is a really, really great question, and the answer is
we're gay.
No fucking way. He just left. That bastard.
Did you guys hear me?
There he is.
No. Cut out.
He left.
Oh, I said.
Oh, that's funny.
We're gay. I ended the show.
No. We didn't stop recording. You still recording?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, did you guys hear what I said? Or what do you think?
No, what'd you say?
Oh, well, that's all right. I gotta go anyway. You know, we got time constraints. Thank you guys for watching.
Oh, you fucking
Thank
piece
you
of
guys for
shit.
watching very much.
Hang on. Shout out to our fucking members on the channel. Also, go check out Magical Porpoise. She did all the art, all the animation for this fucking episode. Go give her all the money.
Hell yeah, dude.
Anyway.
GG.
And we're gay.
I'm gonna replay that last section there because that's hilarious as hell.
The 2-hour video. Why would I stop?
17 hours.
I'm endlessly.
Because the videos are so fucking long.
Yeah,
now.
it took me 7 hours.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is now it's Ethan does an 8-hour reaction to Idubbbz's 1-hour video because the videos are so fucking long.
Yeah,
now.
it took me 7 hours to watch this 5-hour reaction.
And then
2x and I 1.5x speed.
And then Idubbbz is gonna watch your thing for like 17 hours, and then Frogan's gonna watch that for 20 hours and talk about how soldiers should die in the military, and then Hassan's gonna eat lunch for 30 hours and watch it. It's just gonna get bigger and bigger. It just goes on forever.
Yeah.
It goes on forever.
I'm endlessly caught in a loop between people saying like, "Nick, you're posting 2-hour clips," and "Nick, you're posting too many clips. Do you want 7-hour clips?" Like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna post the whole piece of content because that's the content. Do you want it over 3 days or all at once? And the reality of the situation is people are like, "Oh, post 10-minute videos."
That's a fucking lie because they say
Why
that.
would I post 100 10-minute videos? They don't want that.
They say
you guys
that,
watch
and nobody wants to watch it.
You're watching.
And that right there, especially considering how many content creators are involved in this particular drama cycle, is like the biggest reason why all this shit's happening in the particular way that it's happening. The sheer fact of the matter is, there's a lot of people that just decided to randomly give advice to people about content while making none themselves. And it's really hard to not tell those people they're fucking stupid because of how little I personally could care about the thing. Nobody here, by the way. About how much I could personally care about the thing and how much desperately they need you to be involved in this drama because they want to live vicariously through it, and how much of the content that's going on that is usually somewhat either important or a nothing burger bounces on between this is the biggest thing that's important, or this is the biggest dog shit that one particular person wants you to look into. Because I've maybe gotten 4 emails. 4 personal emails. 1 was a troll, not relevant. 3 of them, people telling me about a particular topic that either like their words are hard. That want and like their anonymity and don't want to post about it themselves on the Discord, or of one of the $20 subscribers who remains anonymous, that don't want to give their opinion, that are simply only concerned in the sense of, well, Carl, sometimes I look in on the content and I feel like you're really burnt out sometimes. Have you considered ways in which you could be able to make new stuff or develop things in a way? Because I had asked this person, when I then engaged them on the subject matter, that sometimes I just am burnt out because I'm not sure what to fucking do. And I've discussed this before, where people will make suggestions about something they claim that they would want to be involved with and watch, but then, when I do said thing, non-existent person, it's probably the biggest dog shit that ever happens with content creation, since a lot of people's opinions about what something should happen and what should be done and what one could do is usually the thing that influences that work mattering. I'm going to be the content creator that's just going to say, guys, we love you. Please, if you're going to say that you like and you want to watch something, please support that material. Me personally, for anybody here who cares, just if you say that you want to watch something, support the material. If you don't support it, I have to only follow through with what you're telling me. Because if you say one thing and then you do another, I can only go off of what you have shown me you specifically asked for and wanted. So if you say you want this thing, and then I do the thing, but then you don't support said thing, you have told me that you do not want that thing. Because if you wanted said thing, you would support the thing. And at the same time, it kind of fuels the content, right? So, we've gotten a big uptick in support. And in the uptick of that support, we've gotten new members. And some of those members, they know who they are, have been directly supportive of the content to the point that they have given money of their own selves. And for some people who have decided to complain to me directly in my Twitter DMs about it, I'm sorry. That's not my problem. We go where the content is. We go where the funny is. We go where the material is. If you want me to look into material, you have to post something inside of the community, inside of the Discord, and bring that shit up to me in the appropriate channels. I'm not going to decide to throw all of my weight to harass somebody into the ground because you decided it'd be really funny if I did it. I'd be a bro if I decided to litigate myself into your personal fights. That's not what I'm here for. That's not what any of us are here for. I can't do that. At the same time, if a person does come along, and they do go through the proper channels, and they do go through the proper things to get something dealt with or addressed at a certain point of time, with the highest level of parasocial relationships that you can have be involved with something, I cannot, for the life of me, then say that I understand what the fuck's going on there, because I'm not everybody. I don't look at things the same way everybody else looks at stuff. If I'm going to look at something, I would at least like to know the context of why we're watching it. Because I'm not the kind of person that's going to watch somebody be antagonized and then stand there like I don't know what the fuck's going on. Because I'm not going to put my energy behind something like that. If I'm going to look into and get involved with a piece of material or a piece of content like that, I'm going to draw my line in the sand at what I think is acceptable. I don't think basically trying to co-sign me into watching somebody get bullied, and it's not clear that this is a situation they put themselves into, is cool. That's just me. That's my opinion. Like, the parasocialness that I could get involved in kind of begins and ends there. Past that, you put the time in, you put the effort in, you put the research in, just like some of our more popular, or rather some of our more active members do. That is what it is. And never the twain shall meet. If I get another fucking email where it starts off with, single player Carl, you're destroying your career if you don't let me be able to use you to talk shit about this person who personally harassed me once upon a time, I will crash the fuck out. I swear I will. I swear.
You were eating straight
I will crash
eggs,
the
no
fuck out.
bacon.
Thank you.
The fuck are you doing?
Thank you, Virtuous Angle. Welcome to the Fried Chicken Ring. I cannot be able to understand that fucking behavior. I can't do it, dude. I can't. I'm sorry. So please, in the future, if you're one of those people who are doing that, please stop it. If you're not one of those people who are doing that, a takeaway. Some of the biggest problems for a lot of the biggest content that they discussed or that we've gone through here. A lot of the reason a lot of this shit happens is because a lot of these content creators are not really willing to face the music when it comes to problems. So, Denims, Frogan, the rest of people like that, they're never gonna really take accountability for their behavior because they are not prepared to take accountability for their behavior. They're too adjusted to feeling like they have the right to be the biggest bullies because once upon a time they had a moment where they didn't feel like they were given enough attention from somebody they think should be platforming them so that they can be bullies on the internet. And that made them mad. And now they're going to make it all our problem as they decide to make that something all of us have to deal with. They're not going to change. But me, myself, I'm gonna do something good for me. And what is good for me in that context is I'm not gonna add on to something that I don't think I need to be inside of. Should I not need to be inside of it? If it ain't concerning my shit, I probably don't need to be there for it. Probably. That's my opinion. If I see reason to get involved with it because I think it's interesting, then that's one thing. But I'm not gonna launch into the never-ending attack column to try and make my channel more popular because there are people who desperately want to watch all the drama through me. And the particular drama that I'm not interested in, like the drama that was Nick Ricada, doesn't happen to interest them. There are other places to go to. I'm not Kiwi Farms. Alright. Probably the worst autistic way I could have explained that, but let me catch up. I want long videos because I can work and I can listen to those at work, give me all the content and all the context. That's what I've been putting out for shortenings of streams and shortenings of content. So anywhere between an hour to 30 minutes to 3 hours with a full segment or a very important segment that I pull out, I'll do at maximum 30 minutes total. Maybe like 30 minutes to 1 hour total on a full single segment, depending on what I do on a live stream. And that's what I've been willing to do, especially for my own cuts. Now, they've slowed down because of the changeabout that has gone on at Twitch, because I usually cut them from those VODs that I would make out of highlights. But I cannot be bothered to watch never-ending context to shit unless it's constructed in such a way that I can isolate that material for about 4 to 6 hours of work and then have that for something like a VsChat, like I am right now. Like, I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I don't know about everybody else, but I can't personally do it. Like, it's weird social behavior where people want to live vicariously through my antics, and it's like, hey, I'm doing my antics. If you like watching me do them, that's one thing. I'm not gonna go out of my way and be your fucking executioner because you think somebody else's behavior is cringe. So I'm gonna put myself at your trust and word, and you're gonna lead me into a goddamn trap. Can't do that. It's dumb. Anyways, I have to go because I have to handle in-house business now with the nurse. And when I come back, I'm either playing Expedition 33 or I'm continuing with Ratchet & Clank 2, because since he's paid forward for it, Alex needs his third game and then the fourth game. GG, chat. Remember spaying new to your pets. I'm gonna see you in the funny papers, and I'm billing you all for my therapy. Oh, and my achy, achy knees.